pinnacle of human perfection.
Is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Sharing the love, spreading the light in real time. Friday night love stream.
Very happy to have a guy we instantly resonated with. Unbiased and on the fence. I'm talking about Shane C. Robinson. And his purpose is to rise above the worldviews that are designed to separate us so we can unite as one.
Sometimes you have to sort of take a step back, and I think Unbiased and on the Fence is a really, really good title for your show, because you are in the central point when you're unbiased and on the fence. That's what it means. It doesn't mean you're indecisive. It means you are taking the central point and you're seeing the multiple perspectives.
Unbiased and on the fence.
If you haven't checked Unbiased on the Fence, go and check his channel out. You might like it.
This is Dan Hofeld from Talk is Cheap, and you're listening to Unbiased and on the Fence with Shane Robinson.
If this much sincerity enters your life, come to this much. What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. I don't believe anything, I don't disbelieve anything. I'm willing to look at everything. You will become a sensible human being.
Have you checked out our website?
Visit us on the web at uotf.net. You're listening to The Love Stream.
All around the world in real time.
This is Shane with Unbiased and On the Fence. You're listening to the Friday Night Love Stream.
Your calls, your stories, on air. You're listening to the Love Stream.
Sharing the love and spreading the light all around the world. This is Unbiased and On the Fence.
Unbiased and on the fence.
Happy Friday to you guys. This is, wow, I made it through the crazy weather, and coming out into the sunshine was a beautiful thing. Beautiful fluffy clouds. Got to meditate out in nature and just get away from all the electronics for a while. So that was beautiful. How are you all doing tonight? Lots of people already in the chat, sending lots of love to you guys. Phone lines are open, so if you want to call, it is 1-605-562-0444. That's if you're in the U.S. If you're outside the United States, you can look in the description box if you missed the numbers on the screen at the beginning. But it's 605-562-0444, and the show ID is 147-7973. Oh man, let's start up right with some wing makers. And we will wait for our first caller. that was quick. We're going to go to the phone line to our first caller. Angela, you are live. Are you there?
Hi, Shane. Yeah, I'm live.
Awesome.
Usually in the chat is wisdom of the lunar rays.
Mm-hmm.
So that you or anybody else may recognise me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, the Luna, let's see, what was your name in the chat?
It's wisdom of the lunar rays.
Right.
Rose.
Right. Well, cool. It's nice to finally get to talk to you in person. I see you in the chat all the time.
Yeah, you too.
Let's see,
I
I'll
will
get your
try and
name
remember
up
to speak. I'll try and remember to speak a bit slower. I forget that because I'm Scottish, we speak really fast here.
there. Mm-hmm. Well, you're coming through loud and clear, so that's a good thing.
Oh, that's good, thanks.
What time is it there? Is it middle of the night?
It's 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for staying up to hang out.
Oh, that's okay. I like to stay up at night.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are night owls. In fact, if
Yeah.
my wife didn't go to bed so early, because she works early in the morning, I'd probably be more of a coast to coast AM type of a show, because I love the
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
So how are things in Scotland?
They're good. Well, for me, I don't really go out very much. I quite like to just stay at home. I'm quite introvert and things like that. I just like to do my own thing because I kind of feel a lot of the times either people don't get me or they don't kind of like the same things that I like, type of thing. So it may just be the type of area that I live in. So
yeah, well,
I'm just different.
We all are. Welcome to the crowd.
Sure. I really want to thank you for doing your show, and I also want to thank everybody in the chat and everybody that also comes on to all of your shows each week, because sometimes when things have been really difficult, and I know sometimes people go through difficulties with the energies and they either feel really down or they don't feel well and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Your show has always been that light in the dark, especially for me, because I am quite introvert and I like to stay at home, and whatever show that's been coming on with whatever guests have always made me really feel a lot better or picked me up a great deal, and just awesome. I love it. I'm always looking forward to the Friday night show as well.
Well, you are welcome. I'm happy to do it, and I think this is the place we all come to feel a little bit more normal with people like us. So.
I do. I think it's the only place I do feel normal. So, some of the weeks, or from some of the months that you've been having various guests on the show, it's some weeks I feel like I'm like screaming because I can relate to a lot of things that people are saying. So unfortunately I suffer from a thing called dyscalculus, which means that I have a great difficulty with numbers. So it means I have difficulty phoning and not really understanding numbers, but when I go to try and maybe phone a number, the numbers get all muddled up, so I can't actually do them. So I've made a few wee notes, but it's just been that when April was on last week, it's as far back as like last year, and there was Ronnie and VA was mentioning things a few months back with Eileen. And sometimes you just wish you could phone the show in and say, that's happened to me too, or this has happened and that has happened. So I've made some notes about some of the things that I've experienced either throughout my whole life or recently with some of the people that have been coming on. And for me, a lot of things for me relates recently to past lives, where I've been having a lot of memories of all the past lives that I've actually experienced. But when April came on last week, I thought I really need to phone the show and actually say how I remember the call to come to Earth. And I've always been able to remember it, but in the last year there has been more and more memories coming through of my life on either another planet or how I felt when the call came through, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I wondered if anybody else had experienced what I was going through, or if anything you had done on DQH had been the same as what when I've either been doing meditations. Have you ever experienced anything that I'd like to mention about tonight?
Right. Well, we can certainly ask everybody. I know that. So, when do these memories come to you? Do you just remember them, or is it during dream time, or something else?
I've had them either. I do meditations and I get them, or they just suddenly something triggers me that I don't start to remember things. But I get things through dream time as well, and I always know that they're true because how I feel at the time. So it's like when I remember the call, I can remember being living on another planet and standing in a meadow and looking at a little cottage, and I felt as though I was the only person that lived on this other planet, but yet I knew there was others. And I can remember going into the cottage and there was 3 crystals on almost like a desk, and there was like a blue crystal, a pink one, and a white one. And every time I would go into the cottage, the blue one was always the first one that I touched every single time. And at the time I remember the call, there was just a strange feeling around the area that I lived. I remember coming outside the cottage. I remember turning to my right and there was huge trees, and at the top of one of the trees was, well, the only way I can describe it here would be like a huge white owl. And I can remember when I was said, why the owl? Because I have, in this life here, I've always loved owls. And they said that I knew the owl as Phoenix, but the owl was a shapeshifter that had been with me in many lifetimes. And the owl was here now as Luna. Luna is my cat. So I was like, okay. So I asked a few more questions, and then they said that while I was on that planet, I got a lot of information through telepathy. And there was somebody on your show, there was a guy on your show a few weeks ago who was talking about the telepathy, and I know Overprotected has spoken about telepathy as well.
Robert Bruce, maybe? Or was it a month ago or so?
Somebody that called in. No, it was only 2 weeks ago.
Let's see.
I remembered his name right up until about 5 minutes before I phoned in. His name went.
Oh, was it actually on the Friday Night Love Stream that someone called in? Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Called in.
I thought you were talking about a guest with Overprotected.
No, it just seems that recently a lot of people have been talking about telepathy. And I can remember when I was on this planet that telepathy was the thing that we used. And I've always believed that, well, I've always kind of thought, and more so since I've got more information from my own guides and stuff, that language was invented to stop us using our telepathy or to stop us using our own frequency to communicate.
Right.
I just because I just kind of feel like I struggle with language. I feel like thoughts are easier for me to be able to communicate with people. And definitely with the people that are in my life now, they're the same, because I can say something, they'll say, how did you know I was just thinking about that? Or I was just thinking about somebody and they would appear, or the phone would ring. And I know a lot of people get these things, but for me and my family, we're such a close unit. This is something that happens with us quite a lot. That we're thinking about things, or we're thinking about a person or doing something, and suddenly I'll go and do it, or somebody else in the house will go and do it, and I'll say, oh, thanks for that, I was just coming to do it, and they just laugh, and they're just used to the strange things that I say or do and stuff. But on this planet, I can actually remember them being 2 moons, and one of the moons brought through a lot of I can remember referring to it being something like an internet, that symbols, codes, colours, all sorts of information came through this first moon. Is on this, in this lifetime, I can refer to it as a moon because that's what it looked like, but I'm sure on that planet it was something different, and the information would come through, and I would know what it meant, even though it's hard to explain. I would all see more symbols, and I would know what they meant and go into my cottage and be able to decipher them using these 3 crystals that I always had in this room. And I can remember this time that there was information coming through, and that I just felt uncomfortable and nervous and quite worried, and I knew it was an energy I hadn't felt before. And then I can remember suddenly having this feeling that I had to leave, and I packed everything up and I said bye basically to this white light, this owl that was in these trees. And I can remember, I know that every time I hear about the call and come to Earth, and even when Dolores Cannon spoke about it, I would just start to cry, and I would get really upset, and I would have chills, and the hairs on my arms would start. I would just get every sign that I knew that what she was talking about was absolutely true.
Yeah, same here. But I don't remember. I don't remember the original call like you do. So you remember the call from a different life.
I remember that. I remember a lot in my past lives.
I did want to chime in with. I did want to tell you something before it scrolls too far here, because something came to my mind when you mentioned the owl, and then I couldn't think of the guy's name, but Sherry here, Overprotected, said the name, and it's Mike, M-I-K-E, and you can, I guess you can watch this later and get the name, but it's the last name is McClelland, M-C-C-L-E-L-L-A-N-D, and what he talks about is all these people that have these owl sightings, and really it's like extraterrestrial shape-shifting. Or actually, I think his study goes into the fact that these people see owls and then they'll see a craft, or there's just this relationship with seeing craft and seeing owls. And I think that's sort of the thought that it's, it's our galactic family presenting themselves in a way that doesn't scare us as much, So, but you can check into that later as far as the owl is concerned. But you were actually saying you believe the owl is your cat in this life?
Well, when I get more information through in this life, I'll see something and I'll ask my guides about it, and they'll send me information. And if it feels right, then I know it's true. But I kind of ask for more information or more proof that what I'm feeling or what I'm seeing is right. And I've always had the thing about owls. I've always loved owls. But I always remember this bird in the tree. As I looked at the moons, and I always thought, well, the bird was just symbolism, that for me it means wisdom and knowledge. And it was after I read one of Dolores' books, that I was doing a meditation, and I was asking about my owl, and I was asking about some other things, and they said that owl was a shapeshifter, and it's been with me in many lifetimes, and it's here now as Luna. And I thought, that's really strange. And for me, I love the challenge of putting the puzzle pieces together, because I've always been fascinated by the moon. And that's why I called Luna Rose. So and that's why my channel name that I changed last year was Wisdom of the Lunar Rays, because it was like it was lunar knowledge coming through to me. But at the time, I didn't really realise that lunar rays was the information that I was getting from this, what I see here as a moon coming through on this other planet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, like the last 2 years, I've kind of had more stuff about past life come through and more information come through. So I had a dream last year. I mean, saying about the alien or the alien being the owl, I had a dream last year where I had been, before I was having the dream, I was seeing a lot of blue lights, but they were in unusual places in my room. And I was asking my guides what the blue lights were, because I hadn't seen this type of blue light before. And I was having difficulty sleeping this time, and I just asked my guides to help me fall asleep, because I do suffer from a lot of hip pain and things. So it was just becoming, I was feeling unwell because of the lack of sleep. It was making me worse. And I can remember it being 5:15 in the morning, and I fell asleep. And then I remember in my dream I was in I was in a building, and there was somebody walked up next to me and they said, "We're going on a journey. Are you ready?" And I said, "Of course." They took me through a doorway, and I ended up in a place that I was told was catacombs, which is, I think they're like underground graves.
Don't they? Yeah, I think they have them in London or something, don't they? Catacombs.
I thought they were in Italy, but you could be.
Oh, it could be. I'm I don't know. It's like states over there to me.
It's like underground graves.
Right.
They took me down through these, and I thought, oh, I hope this is like going to be a good dream, and I hope it's not bad, because I do remember a lot of my dreams. And they took me to a doorway and said, "We're going to take you on a journey. Are you ready? If you don't, you can go back or you can go forward." And I said, "I'm happy to go forward." As I went through the doorway, an archway appeared, and I just knew, I wasn't told, but I just knew I had to go up to the archway and put my fingers on the symbols that were around the archway before I was allowed to step over the threshold to go to another level. And when I would put my fingers around the archway, the symbols on the archway would change colours. And as I got to like the fourth one, I had just passed through the doorway when a blue light came towards me and started to just change into some sort of a blue alien. And I haven't been able to find out what race, well, she was, because I have found out, I know she looked like an alien from a Star Wars movie, which I don't watch, so I don't know how it would basically be able to appear in my dreams. I know in the movie they're called Kaminoans, but they are tall. Well, she in the dream appeared to me, she was tall, she was a beautiful blue colour. On her top half, on her bottom half, it was just like a white light, and there was a blue-white light that glowed all around her. She looked human, but her eyes were more of an oval shape or almond shape and quite big. She had like normal hands and everything else like we do, except her fingers were longer. And as soon as I seen her appear, I ran towards her, and I was upset, and I was going, "Oh, my friend, I've missed you so much," and which I thought was really strange, because I don't do that. That's not how I would react when I see friends. So, but for her, I instantly knew her. And then I felt the dream is, it felt like two people. I felt like I was watching myself hug this being, and another part of me had stepped back and was watching what was going on. And I remember saying in my head, "Wow, she's tall. She must be about 8 feet tall." And I heard the answer back, and the being said, "I'm actually just over 7 foot, but we get as tall as 8. And I thought, "Oh my God, she's reading my mind." And it was really, really strange, but it was the feeling that I felt like I knew her. So she walked with me a wee bit through these archways, and then she stopped and she said I couldn't go any further, that she had to carry on. And then I asked what her name was, and she said, my name's a frequency, and there's not a word to describe my name on Earth. And I said, then you need to give me something that I can use, because I can't just describe you as the blue alien.
Right.
And she says, I'll come back and I'll tell you. And I thought, right, fine. And it took her about 6 or 7 months to come back, and it took her about, well, it took me about a week to understand her name. And she gave me the name Ariel.
Mm-hmm.
And when I researched the name, her name means meadow over the horizon, which I thought was really strange, because it took me back to the call and remember being in the meadow, first looking at my cottage.
Right.
And to me, her name basically means heaven. She means that beautiful place somewhere over that horizon that we don't really get to see here.
Right.
And since I've connected with her, she does appear, but it tends to be her blue light appears, or there's a strange vibration in the house, or there's a strange clicking noise in the house when they appear. Sometimes I don't actually see her, but I know she's around, and then I speak, and they tell me about the event and how there's going to be this, like a mist or a fog, and inside the mist or the fog is going to be like a sparkly lights or iridescent lights, and they show me what it's like, and so how some people are going to panic, and I just ask them to stop showing me that unless they could actually give me more information, because I actually believed the event is something that's happening inside us and no outside.
Right.
And then I was having dreams like spaceships, how they're actually able to cloak themselves in the sky so that people don't get to see them.
Right.
And then I just said it's getting too confused, and I just can't understand half the things that I'm being told or being shown. And I just asked them to step back a wee bit just until things calm down. And then in the last 2 months, the past life stuff has started to come through. And it's so much of the past life things that I've been remembering are connecting to my life here. Like one of the things I did was it Alison Cole last year? It was 1 day regression meditation they did. It was 1 day. Well, she put a meditation out that I did a few months back, and I when I went into it, I was told that I was a male and I worked for a circus and I had problems with my legs. And I asked the male in the meditation what the problem was with my legs. And he said a strange response, which was, I have legs like elephants. And I woke up laughing, and I thought it really strange. But he showed me them, and his legs were very swollen and distorted. And they were very, very heavy. And he lives by himself. And I thought, okay. And that night in a dream, I had a dream where I actually was fortune teller at a circus, which I found really strange, because I've been fascinated with gypsy stuff since I was a wee girl. I love cups of tea, as in china cups. I can read tea. I can read everything that palms. Looks like I can read tarot cards and crystal balls and tea leaves and everything.
Was this Earth life that you're remembering, or was it a different planet?
I can remember this on this one with the circus. I can remember that in this lifetime.
Oh, okay. So that was here on Earth. Someone else is asking, did you say the event is external or internal? Because I thought you said we would see it externally, but what about internally?
I believed that the event was an internal thing, but in my dream they were showing me it as being an external thing, where we were going to see this fog or mist come through. And
it's an iridescent rainbow looking mist?
But yeah, it had all these different colours, sparkling colours in it, which kind of it's confused me, because they were saying it was going to be a fog, but I believed that the event was an internal thing. So, and when I asked for more information, they gave me it different from what I believed.
Right. Yeah, and I think what I've been getting is that one was going to trigger the other, and it's hard to pinpoint which way it's going to go, because when we reach a certain point, we're supposed to trigger it, and then it's going to be this external event that changes us even more. So it really depends on your perspective on the whole thing, with what I've been coming up with. But even just in the short time I've been talking to you, I've been seeing so many synchronicities in what you're saying, and what T. Taylor, who she said she's going to be releasing her BQH session that her and I did a few days ago on her channel. And then, of course, I'm going to have her on here to discuss it, and we'll play parts of it here too. But she's going to be releasing that, so you might want to check that out. You heard April's, so you're probably already seeing similarities in the information, right?
I think that I feel that in the last 2 months, the synchronicities are huge, because I have noticed so many, and like even the recent one where I was saying about I was the gypsy in the circus. The only thing I can't read is palm reading, whereas gypsies, that was one of the things. And when I asked my guides the other day why I never had the interest in that but everything else, they said it was because you'd read so many in this past life. And I was like, okay, so in this life I suffer severe motion sickness, which means that I have great difficulty travelling. And I said, well, why was that? And they said, because as a gypsy in the past life, the circus was always travelling. And I was like, well, here's me asking all these questions, and the answers are coming so easily. Whereas before, it may have taken the answers, and now the answers are coming so quickly. And even with, there's like loads of numbers synchronicities, which I struggle with numbers because I see them differently. It may be a number 7 on the screen to everybody else, but to me I'm seeing number 3. So numbers has never been my thing. I've just noticed how the universe speaks to me in every other way, and that goes back to me hearing the call and getting the information or knowledge coming through that. What I see is a moon. Now, it may not be a moon, but I've always seen it as the moon. So I'm so used to getting signs and symbols in every way, apart from numbers, because it's the one thing I struggle with. But recently, it's really upped its game. And when April was saying last week about the spiders, I felt that what April was saying was, we are the spiders. We are the ones that are connecting the web of life, or all the... We are the one that are making the connections to everybody or everything. And we are networking now, and everybody's joining together. And the information, which is the web, whether that's people see that as the internet or anything else, the information is getting through now, and it's connecting more and more people. I have a fear of spiders that is huge, and it's not that I'm frightened. I've worked out that it's not a fear of spiders, it's a fear of the spider touching me, and that again is back to a past life. And one of the other things that goes with a fear of spiders is a fear of, it's crazy, it's a fear of dots or holes. And it's basically because in a past life, a lot of people have this fear because they were bitten by a spider or a poisonous, like maybe an octopus, or they had maybe plague. And people who have a fear of spiders have also got this fear of dots, because the dots are a reminder of the bite. And they go together. So spiders has always been something my guides have never shown me, but really because if I see one, it kind of upsets me for quite a few weeks. I can feel them on my skin. I can have terrible nightmares about them and things. And it's because of the trauma attached to past life. So I always try and avoid those certain things, but I know that when it's spiders, and people are talking about them in like regression or past life things, for me it tends to be it's network. It's so many people starting to come together, and almost like information is joining together, but it's matching.
Yeah.
There's so many wee bits and pieces that are all matching together, and the more I've been listening to the show the last few weeks or the last few months, the more I'm hearing, like I said at the start, the more I'm hearing similarities between other people's dreams, or like when Eileen talks about her alien experience, there's so many things that are connecting, and it's all, I think it's all linked, and I still feel that part of me still feels that is part of the event.
Yeah.
That network coming together.
Totally, I agree. Yeah, I think we're in the middle of the event. Yeah, and I think one way to look at it is like a ladder. Some people look at the whole ladder as the shift or the event, and then each rung of the ladder are, you know, steps of moving upward into a higher level of consciousness or awareness. And so we have these smaller events, but it's all part of this overall shift or event. And I think, you know, even in the Bible, in Daniel, it says at the end of the age, people will run to and fro and knowledge will increase. And when I hear that, I just, you know, I see how we're all coming together, we're finding one another, we're able to begin discussing these things and coming out, which we can't do with the people in our day-to-day life, because, you know, they think we're crazy already, probably because we've tried it already, you know. So we're coming together, we're sharing these experiences, we're seeing these commonalities like you're mentioning, and it's really helping us to realize that there is a bigger picture at play here. And I think you're right, that we are building this. I think it's typically called the grid, but yeah, a web is equally, you know, a good symbol for what we're doing here. And we're creating this worldwide web, if you will, of, you know, bringing in these higher energies.
Definitely. I mean, I'd love to hear you doing a session with Eileen or Todd or somebody like that to see what comes up for them, whether it's something to do with a past life or anything like that. It does just totally fascinate me when I hear of all the BQH and things like that, because I can, maybe even if you read Dolores Cannon's book and things like that, it's like, I remember this, and I remember this, and to me, a lot of it feels real, more real than actually real life here now, because it's not that, it's just, I feel as though every sense that I have tells me if something's right or wrong. It's a pure resonance that I have, where it's not just like, oh, I'm taking on something they're saying and maybe it happened to me and I'm changing the words in it, but like when I say that I hear the call, it's so strong, or I remember hearing the call, it's so strong in me that I get upset, I get really, really emotional when I think about it. And both my best friends will say, they're, you know, when they're done in this life, they're not coming back, and that's it. And I'm going, well, why wouldn't you? You've came here for one of the greatest shows that we're ever going to see, and why wouldn't you come back? It's such a beautiful place, and you've not seen enough of life. And they just think I'm mad, but I just do. I just think, you know, because a lot of people have been trapped in life for so long, they're missing out. And yet when the show eventually kicks off with its true ending, and where everything's revealed about what's truly going on or what's truly been happening, it's just, everything's just going to be wonderful. Because I think if it wasn't going to be wonderful, I wouldn't be here. Because I totally believe that I'm here for something, and I may not fully understand what that is or fully know what that is yet, but I know 100% that I came here for a reason, and that's just about to be revealed to me. And whether that's the event or whatever name anybody else wants to give it, then that's it. Something special's coming, something so important and beautiful is coming, and I just don't want to miss it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, it's easier for us to get caught up in the chaos of our own lives and the problems we're having. I see it a lot with people that know they're here for a reason. They know there's some kind of purpose for being here to help out. They know they volunteered to be here. Some might not know that yet, but for the ones that know that they're here, they volunteered to be here, they still struggle a lot because, everything in front of them is chaotic and it looks like a mess. Mm-hmm. But I think if we can pull ourselves out of that and realize that the overall picture that you just described is beautiful. There's this beautiful mm-hmm. event going on here. So many souls wanted to incarnate here to experience this. We were selected to go, and be here at this time. And, I think we're going to look back and see how beautiful it was in the future if we don't see it now. But we can choose to step out of those, the bondage or these prisons that because really the prisons are in our mind. If we think the government's keeping us down, or we think, we're being oppressed by, any group, people have their own prisons, but they're in their mind, and they can really step out of that. They can make that choice mm-hmm. like you did to realize that this is a beautiful time, and we're all coming together to create this huge, magnificent change on this planet. And it's so exciting when you can get beyond your day-to-day problems about paying bills or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And say, hey, that stuff's little compared to what's really happening right now, and we're all seeing it, and mm-hmm. it's beautiful.
Yeah. My best friend, he worked in what we call here an abattoir. He was a slaughterman, so he killed a lot of cattle and things like that, and he's now crippled by chronic pain within his whole body, mm-hmm. and he's also going blind. Mm. But he watches and listens to far too many of the Truth Seeker videos, mm-hmm. And we keep saying, step back from them because they're making you worse, and they're getting them. Recently, he has been so upset by the 5G situation that's going on, and he tries to tell everybody about it, and he just gets himself so worked up and upset about it because he'll say that everybody needs to know. And it takes you quite a few hours to actually get him to calm down and say that everybody's different. They'll learn about it in their own way or at their own time, and the truth will come in. This is what part of the energies are. The energies come in and drop in codes that will awaken people at the right time or give people the right information at the right time, and he just gets so upset, and it kind of drains your mm-hmm. energy because he gets so focused and upset because his heart's in the right place, but it's too wide open, and he makes himself ill. And we had a discussion the other day about the 5G, and I need to tell everybody about it, and they don't get these smartphones, and don't get smart meters, and don't get this, and don't get that. And I say, put some trees in the garden. And he's mm-hmm. going, well, what do you mean, a tree? What's a tree going to do? And I'm going, it blocks 5G signals. And he's mm-hmm. like, is it? And I'm, don't look at the problem. Well, ask for a solution. Yeah. Ask for a solution for you, because when you focus on you, it will spread to everybody else in the smallest way, and it makes it bigger and bigger, and it's that network again. And I used the symbol of the spiders and the web that April was talking about last week, and I said, be that spider where you're creating something and spread that web. Don't go about telling everybody about 5G, because some people just don't want to hear it. Find another way. Focus on you and build your own web and spread it out, and you'll get there. And he felt a lot happier about it, and the best way I can say to describe it is, I told God the only way I was coming here is that everybody came forward, that nobody and nothing got left behind. And that's where I get my strength to go on each day, because I get upset about things, I get triggered, but I said to God, nobody gets left behind. Everybody goes forward, whether it's the same day, the same time, or differently. Mm-hmm. I struggle as well, but nobody gets left behind. Right. And as far as I'm aware, he promised me nobody get left behind, and that's it. And he was happy with that, but he just gets so upset by nobody in his mind progressing fast enough. And It was
Yeah,
things like, we need to go get rid of phones and go back to the dark ages. And I'm like, no, we don't need that.
Yeah, we can get, and that's sort of one of the stages. So he's probably earlier in his awakening, and I think for most of us, we started finding out about so many things that we've been lied about without naming any specifics, and and then all the ways we've been getting harmed by things they're doing, and so we go through this anger phase first of like, what the heck are you guys doing? We got to do something about this, but then, we'll move through that hopefully into understanding we can sort of attack the problem from a higher perspective by not focusing on the problem, like what you just said. Because when we focus on the problem, we're becoming a frequency match to that problem rather than, aligning ourselves with where we want to see ourselves going, and to vibrate that way, I
mean, we've got it just now in our government where they're fear-mongering and panic, and I don't even watch the news and things like that, and I'll just say to Brian, it'll be fine. There's a bigger source than them dealing with this. So who do you trust? Do you trust the media and the governments, or do you trust that one source that brought you here and created everything round about you? And he's like, oh yeah, but at times I don't think about it that way, and I'll say, well, switch off for the media and switch off the truth seekers on YouTube who you keep watching all the time and keep saying the same things, and you just have to switch off and just create yourself. Because it's like a domino effect. If you give out that one piece of goodness, it will spread. It may make somebody's day. You might be the only person that opens the door to somebody one day, and they remember that because they've had such a tough day where people have been shutting doors before, and that's how it spreads. And I think he tries to look at doing the bigger things in life, and it's actually just the smaller things that create that network.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
smile
really
for somebody and say hello, and that you may be the only person that speaks to them all day, or smiles to them all day because they've had a bad day. Yeah.
And all those little things add up.
Yeah.
They're typically adding up the other way, by, somebody getting angry, and then, a cashier gets upset for the rest of the day because one person yelled at her or did something rude, and then, and then maybe she passes it on to another customer, and it's sort of, but we can do just the opposite, we can say, hey, what a nice shirt, or, you have a nice smile, or how's your day, and just be polite and just brighten someone's day in that moment of our interaction with them.
Yeah. He just goes, he's a healer, but he just goes, gets, I wouldn't say he gets mad and angry, he just gets so worked up about, trying to change people because he knows it would be so good that because he's a healer, it makes it worse. It makes the energy worse. It becomes overheated. It's like he's ready to explode because he becomes so fixated on, he's just listening to a video and we need to do this and we need to do that, and nobody's listening. To try and get him to calm down and say, people are listening, you are not listening, you're not seeing the results. And that's what you've got to look for, the smallest things, because it's the smallest things that will make you say, oh, they are waking up. And I have to say, how many times have you heard somebody saying recently, I wish I didn't have a phone? And you say, well, I've heard it a few times. I'm going, that's it. That's part of this awakening where people are now going, I want to shut off some technology, and I want to actually speak to people now face to face instead of doing the phone or get a wee text message or a wee emoji. You want to actually physically speak to people now, but it's, I think for him it's hard because he gets overheated and just too many videos on truth seekers and things, and he's got to back off a wee bit.
It can be addictive, sitting there and watching all this stuff, and then you get angry, and then you get, before you know it, you're vibrating in this low vibration that's just sort of helping what it is now, the reality we're facing right now. It's helping perpetuate that instead of bringing around a higher vibe. So, and I think it's designed that way. In one respect, I love the truther channels because it's a way to wake people up that haven't even made it that far, but you can get stuck there at that level, and you're just sitting there being revealed all of this truth, and then you're just like angry and upset, and impatient about changes not coming about and what should I do, and and that's sort of giving your power away to something else or feeling like the victim. So it is tough to move beyond that victim mentality.
Yeah.
But when you can do that and you can realize, hey, that prison was just all in my mind, I can move forward with this. And I can see that's why you were placed in. You said this is your best friend. Has he been your friend your whole life? Or?
No, his mum is my best friend, and he has become my best friend as well.
Oh, okay.
So his mother and son are both my best friends.
What about is the mom more awake, your best friend?
No, well, she kind of shuts off because she can't understand a lot of the things that he's talking about, like 5G and chemtrails and things like that. But she knows there's energies coming and there's an alleged event in her mind, but she's kind of stuck in the reality TV mode.
Oh, right.
I'm only watching it because this is interesting. I'm like, oh dear.
So her son's actually more awake than she is, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, you can
reality
actually see
TV.
how we help each other. Like you're helping her son, he'll end up helping her, and it's like, we're all like giving a hand up to the next person in line as we all figure this out together. You know?
I mean, that's what it is, because we're all, well, me and my two best friends and my son, we're all different, but we're all like kind of connected because we're all experiencing something different, but we're also that help. And if I stepped aside, the connection wouldn't be the same, but it's the same with them. If any one of my best friends stepped aside, we'd be lost as well. So we're just this wee unit that works together.
Right.
It's really, really strange, but we're all kind of helping each other up and showing each other signs, and it's just really, really strange how we're together, but so different, but so connected.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where I think that Brian is very much like my other half, because he's so like me, but different. He's different because he's into the truth seeker stuff, where I'm more spiritual.
Right.
Like, I hadn't watched TV for a long time, and it was you that was talking about The Travellers season on Netflix, and I thought, I'll try it. And I think I got to the 4th episode, and I'm going, I just can't get into this. And then it was keep watching, and I watched the whole way through, and it was like, oh, something in it resonated. But it was, I don't know if you've seen the one. It's the one where the girl's skydiving, and the traveller jumps into her.
Oh.
She's in midair.
And they have to keep repeating it?
Yes. Well, it was that triggered me, and it was that, well, I say triggered, it was that started me going back to the past life things.
Right.
And I researched past lives like 20 years ago, and I knew a lot about it, but it was that really triggered me about 2 weeks ago to start actually watching a lot of videos about it on YouTube. And there's like quite a famous one. It's Jenny Cockell. She traced one of her past lives, and she met her past life's children in this lifetime. And like in the last 2 weeks, all I want to do is go back to past life and start to look up past life things and everything, which is strange. So just assuming the month a minute.
Yeah, it's been doing its weird stuff still.
Otherwise, I wouldn't go looking it up.
Yeah. So that's amazing. So the Travelers thing, I just felt like there was some similarities to our little group, and that's just the idea of they were coming from, I guess, the future back to that current time, and it sort of reminded me of the 3 waves of volunteers, Yeah.
It's just annoying now they've stopped doing the series.
Yeah, did you
only get to the 3rd part.
Did you make it to the 2nd season?
I've watched it all the way to the 3rd. The end of the 3rd.
Oh,
so
okay.
Like, when I heard when I got to the end of the 3rd season, I thought, I can't wait to see if there's going to be a 4th. And then I Googled it, and they said they'd stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Kind of annoyed, because it's like, first thing I've watched in a while, and I've really been into, and typical, it's not going to make it anymore. too much truth, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I found that when if I have been watching something or my son's been telling me about something, then they stop making it, and I'm like, too much truth in that.
Right. I think that's a lot of stuff is leaked like that, you know. Like I always refer to that movie, The Never Ending Story, because there's a lot of beautiful nuggets of truth in that whole idea of, you know, not only the story within the story within the story that you see, and bringing the audience in as being part of that third layer that's watching the boy watch the other boy. You know what I mean? It's like realities within each other. I think that part of it. And then the part of, you know, nobody was using their mind to create Fantasia, which is sort of the problem we're at right now. And I've seen it with the Mandela effect. It's saying that get back to the creative part of your brain and begin to create your reality. And I feel like that's what that movie was saying. And I must have cried. I cried way more as an adult watching that movie than I don't even know if I cried as a kid. But it really resonated with me, the whole never-ending story. Do they have that over there?
Yes. I mean, when I seen the movie, when it came out, I could resonate with it because it's about reading a book. And it's using your imagination to create something that only you can create or see a point of view in. And I love reading, and I find that when they go from book to making a movie, it's not the same. It just spoils what I've imagined. So I can understand that from that movie's point of view and stuff. I've never really been into TV and watching movies and things like that, but sometimes people recommend something and I'll watch it maybe for the first once or twice and then be like, yeah, I do like it, or absolutely not, I would never watch it like this. I think the thing just now is the Game of Thrones that everybody's been on about. I don't know what it's about, but it's like never been my thing. Or in fact, my son got me to watch an episode of Stranger Things a wee back in October, and I was like, oh, it'd be nice to see some skies without chemtrails, like in the 1980s, and he was like, are you sure? And I'm going, no, not really, because it's made just now. And sure enough, so he was watching an episode, and I'm going, oh, look, there's chemtrails. They didn't have them in the 80s, and he found that quite funny because his big cousin Brian is always talking about the chemtrails and things like that. So I don't tend to watch TV that much unless somebody recommends something, then I try to watch it. And if I don't,
I'm the same way, yeah.
You know, if I lose attention within the first 5 or 10 minutes, I'm like, no, I'm just not going to be able to keep this in mind.
It's amazing when you stay away from the TV and then you go back and, you know, watch over someone's shoulder while they're watching it. Things look a lot different than when you just came home and turned your TV on and like mindlessly watched it every night. It's just, you can see all these little things that you wouldn't have seen before. You know, little messages
I don't have a TV
of fear and stuff.
Yeah, I don't have a TV in my sitting room or that. And my best friend says, well, what are you going to do at Christmas when everybody gets together? And I'm going, we're going to sit and talk. But she was like, well, what am I going to do without my Kardashians on TV and all these other reality shows that she watched? And I'm going, we're going to sit and talk. We're going to be able to sit and actually talk and have a conversation without watching all that nonsense on TV. And she's like, well, you need to get a TV. And I'm going, no, we don't need a TV.
They're distractions. If you think about it, everything we've talked about that pulls us away from the truth is all a distraction, whether it's, you know, waking up to the chemtrails. If you hang out on that, or you hang out on any of these other things too long, then it pulls you down. But if you see it as the distraction it is, then it helps you move through it and realize there's so much more going on, you know?
Yeah, it does. It does.
And like you're mentioning a distraction, think about, you know, you can go in pretty much any home and see a family. If they even are eating together, everybody's like on their phone. They're not even, you know, communicating with one another, you know?
Yeah. You see, I mean, I do see it here when I'm out, the people have got their phone in their hand, or they're looking at their phone, or they're sitting on a train or a bus and they're on their phone, and it's like, I don't even go out with my phone. I have a phone, but I have difficulty using it because of the numbers type thing, but I just use it to tell the time. There's my electric clock up there working, and it's an expensive electric clock, but it's not a phone. I can tell you how to work my phone. I just use it as a clock. It's only there for emergencies in case my son phones and there's a problem, and I'm like, right, okay, I'll try and answer it if I can remember how to work it, but that's it. it's just not my thing. I just can't get technology at all.
Well, I wanted to say kudos for calling and being able to do all those numbers, because even people that don't have problems with numbers have a problem calling in sometimes. So it was a good job.
Well, I had to do it through the
website?
talk show. Yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
had to do it that way.
Yeah, I was going to tell everybody.
For so long.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to tell everybody that you can actually go to the website. It's in the description. It's talkshoe.com /show/love stream, and just connect through your computer that way instead of dealing with all the numbers. So, because people say they have problems, but that works from anywhere in the world. Yeah. So
I had just had problems so long actually trying to put the number in and dial on it, and then it was saying things like the line was busy or they couldn't connect for weeks and weeks. And it was Sherry that said, try it through the website. And then that was so easy. And I was going to phone a few weeks ago and somebody else phoned. And then I was going to phone last weekend and then it was April. And I was like, determined this time I'll get it right.
Well, this is awesome. I'm glad we were able to finally talk to you. Is there any, do you feel like you've had any kind of contact with extraterrestrials or anything in this life? I
do feel that with the dream that I had, with the blue being that she calls herself Ariel. I do believe she is one that's with me a lot. I don't always see her, but I see her like a coloured orb when she's around or when she's visiting, but they don't come a lot.
And it's blue, you said, right?
She's like the colour that they say the blue avians are, but she's not a blue avian because I know that she doesn't have those features. But I know that she was over 7 feet tall, but she says that they get as tall as 8 feet. And I knew her in the dream. And when I came downstairs after having the dream, I said to my best friend what had happened, and she says, I can tell you're really upset about what you've seen. And it affected me for months. Really, really affected me, where I felt homesick for wherever she was, or I kept waiting for signs for her to come back and connect with me, and it was just so unusual. And that's the first time that I've actually seen one in my dream. It's other things that I've seen where it's either been a spaceship or there's been blue lights, as I say, in my house. You see, my son's a crystal child, so he gets a lot of things, and because he sees a lot of spirit people and he feels a lot of stuff as well, put the two of us together and it's fireworks.
Yeah. How old is your son?
He's 23 in November.
Has he always been gifted?
Yeah.
It runs in the family. So do you know if like your son and your best friend and her son, do you remember them from previous lives?
I don't remember them from a previous life, but I feel as though it's almost like we've came. I always knew that I was going to have a boy, and he was going to have blue eyes and blonde hair. When my son was born, well, when I was pregnant, I kept saying, I'm having a boy, and they kept saying, but it could be a girl, how do you know? I just know it's a boy, just know. And when he was born, his hair was silver hair, and blue eyes, and I just could see all these beautiful colours run about his aura, and I didn't know about crystal children then, just all these beautiful colours in his aura, and I happened to say to somebody, and they said, research crystal children. And when I looked up crystal children, the only thing on the list that he wasn't was vegetarian. Everything else was what he was. And when I researched it a bit, it was something to do with they come from Orion. And then when they said that, I was like, what, those 3 stars in the sky that I've always said they're my 3 stars. And it's everybody knows them. I can't even remember the names of them, but it's the 3 stars that are almost in a row. The pyramids are based on them.
Yeah,
It's,
the belt stars of the Orion
yes.
constellation.
So that kind of connected me back to my stars, my past, and the moon as well. And the only person that I remember from this life was my mum. I remember my mum telling me she came from Lemuria, and I remember her from there. And my mum passed away in 2000, and a few months back I asked her where we had met in past lives, and she said Lemuria, and she showed me where we were from there, that we were best friends from there, because I was asking how I knew Diane and Brian and things. She said that I hadn't met them before in any lifetime. This was the first one. And I asked my mum how I knew her and where my mum was actually from. And that's when my mum told me that she came from the Sisterhood of the Blue Rose, which I thought, I've never heard of that. And when I googled it, it's actually a real place that's connected with Mary Magdalene and some other famous women. I think it might be Mother Mary, but I'm not sure. But I knew Mary Magdalene was connected to it, and they were connected to Atlantis, which threw me again, because the Blue Rose, that's where Luna Rose comes from. It's a connection I've had with the Blue Roses since my mum told me a story about them when I was a wee girl. So it's been all these wee bits of information that I've received through meditations and dreams that have linked into stories that my mum's told me in the past, or that have just all connected with past lives. And I just find the subject fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I did hear about something about Mary Magdalene and the Blue Rose or something before when I was looking something up. That just came to my mind, but I'll have to look back into that again. That was a while back. But yeah, it's all, there's so many connections to be made here. And, you know, I want to kind of just have that said that, you know, you don't have to really worry about all of the details of everything. I mean, we do want to know, we're truth seekers and we want to know the truth, but at the same time, we know what we can do right now, and we don't really need to know all the details with that. We're just raising the planet's vibration, and we can get so stuck in truth seeking that it, like you were saying earlier with your best friend's son, that it just pulls you down. You know, it can pull you down if you stick on that too much, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
But you don't have to know. We made it this far.
I just like the bits, Sorry. I just like to know the bits that I'm getting told about now, because then, like the Blue Rose, I can remember as a wee girl asking my mum if you could get roses in every colour, and she said yes, and I was like, what, even blue? And she said, yeah, they're called blue moon roses. And that story always stuck in my mind. And when I was older and I bought a house, the first plants I wanted in the garden was blue roses. And when I got them, they were blue moon roses. And I've always had a love for them, little realising when my cat came into my life, I was going to call her Luna Rose, meaning blue moon rose. And then when my mum passed, and I got that information that she was from a group of beings known as the Sisterhood of the Blue Rose, I thought, I don't know if that's true. And then when I researched it and found out that it was true, it was like, for me, it was like, more research to do. I just love joining the dots. I just love, rather than putting the TV on, I just love the research that goes into to maybe prove them wrong or prove me wrong. Most of the times it's me that's wrong when I go, and that's not true, and they just love to prove that they're right. I just love it. Yeah,
I love to try to connect the dots.
Yeah, it's just like you're saying with the movie, Never Ending Journey. I just love that. The never ending story, because it just never seems to end. There's just doesn't seem a time where they don't give me something that doesn't surprise me. I just love it.
Do you think you were shown stuff from your past life to help you in this life, or why do you think you were shown that stuff?
I think the past lives that they try to show me is with the fear of spiders, definitely. Sometimes to help me get over it, because it was severe, where I was actually so traumatized by seeing them or having them touching me that I was forgetting to breathe, and it was causing a lot of problems because then I wouldn't sleep or I would have nightmares, and it was just really, really bad. Some of it, I don't know. I think some of it is just curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Like the gypsy in the circus, I would never have thought that, but yet it took me a long time to realise, well, that's a big possibility that you'd agree, because I suffer severe motion sickness in this lifetime. Travelling for me is horrendous. It's really, really horrendous. But I can understand that now, and I'm supposed to be going to Orlando in October. So
you're going where in October?
Orlando.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And usually I'd be like, no chance. No, I'm not leaving house. But I will only go because my son's gone. So I'll go to see him smile, and that's it. I will put myself through hell to go for him.
That's so sweet.
That's why they showed me the gypsy travelling in a circus. I travelled everywhere, and that's why I have the motion sickness here. So it's that balance. For me, it's that balance, and maybe that's what I need in this life, is the balance. I need to know about my past, heal the present, maybe.
What about doing any of those, the things you did as a gypsy? Do you think you're gifted with doing that in this lifetime?
Yeah, I would say so. I can remember from being a wee girl, always knowing things and always having dreams and seeing spirit. And a TV show came on, and they showed you tarot cards. And I can remember asking my mum what they were, and she says, "Oh, they're tarot cards. Where will I get them?" And she said, "In a joke shop," which is like a magic shop, I suppose, in the USA. And I was like, "What do you mean a joke shop?" I was so insulted that she said that. And it took me to the age of 12 to get them. And the minute I got them, I just knew how to use them. And I knew it just put me on that journey where I had to learn to do the tea leaves, and, well, not even learn, but I got the teacup and I knew how to do them and everything else. But the only thing I didn't have an interest in was palmistry and being able to read palms. That I just had no interest in that. And I think that's because I maybe read too many in a past life.
Well, that's cool. So do you do readings now?
I was up until about 18 months ago, and then I started to feel different. I just felt as though it wasn't me anymore, that I still love my cards, I still have a lot of decks of cards, and I can still use them, but there's just, I feel different. I just can't explain. I just stopped doing readings. I stopped reading people on Facebook and everything, because I was in a few groups that we did free readings. And I was doing readings almost every single day, and I just thought, I just can't do this. I don't want to. And I just backed right away from it. I don't know if it was the energies at the time, or if it was me at the time, or I don't know. I just backed right away from it all.
Right. Well, sometimes it's just time to move on and start a new chapter in your life or whatever. But you never had a BQH or a hypnosis session, or have you?
I do want to do BQH, but it would have to be after I come back from holiday. Definitely want to do it to try and kind of see if I'm able to connect any more dots or anything like that whatsoever. I would love that.
Oh,
Absolutely
yeah.
love that.
I try to encourage everybody to, even if they don't want to practice it, all the time, they can at least learn to do BQH, maybe as a couple, or brother and sister, friends or something, take it and they can do it on each other, because I've been seeing so many cool activations and information, and just, I don't know, it's just been an exciting ride. I can totally resonate with Dolores Cannon's books now, because how excited she was to see all these connections, and then she would go and write about it, and now I'm experiencing it firsthand. And I think, like I said, even if you don't want to do it all the time, at least having that ability to be able to pull out your binder with all your papers in it and do a session on someone, or on someone that's close to you, because it's powerful. It's amazing.
I mean, I used before 2000, when I was doing readings, I felt as though the energies and information was coming from everywhere. It was quite scattered, and I found it really difficult because I couldn't keep my hands still, and my feet were always tapping as I was doing readings. And it was a friend who said, you need to do healing and it'll focus your energy. And so I went and learned how to do Seikeen healing, which is earth, fire, water and spirit energies that come straight through. And it's only when I learned that I learned it was connected to Egypt, and again the symbols and everything else. And it was only when I learned that more focused information started to come through. The information was clearer or better, or it was just a lot better about past lives and information coming through about people. When I was giving readings, I was getting things about their past life, or I was seeing things where it was maybe alien stuff that was coming through for people. But I've been very much until I experience something myself, then I'm on the fence. It's the best description. I'm on the fence until I get that. Until I see it or experience it myself, I'm on the fence.
Can you back up and talk about the foot tapping that you were talking about? What's up with that?
When I would be sitting reading people, I couldn't keep my feet still. I kept tapping my feet a lot, or if I crossed my legs would shake. I would keep rubbing my hands together, or like making a fist, and my knuckles would be white. And it was because I was told there was stronger energies trying to come through, but I had blocks and I wasn't able to channel the energy enough, and I needed to go and do healing and actually become a healer to actually focus more energy coming through. And that's exactly what happened. The minute I did the attunements for receiving healing, I was confident, but I became more confident and more secure and more certain of myself, and more certainly, now I feel as though I live more in spirit than I do here. I can deal with spirit people and energies better than I can deal with people here. That makes sense. It's like people here confuse me and kind of upset me, and I like to just go do what I need to do and step back.
Right.
And that's it, and go back into my own wee world. And being able to be a healer helped me with that. Whereas before I couldn't sit at peace. I would be pacing up and down, shaking legs, my hands would shake. But when I learned to do Seikeen, that stopped.
The reason I'd ask is I guess it was probably 2015 that I started. I don't know that I would call it foot tapping. It's more like my toes going up and down without me even really thinking about it. And, and other people will usually like, what are you doing with your foot? And I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice. It's just kind of doing its own thing there, I guess, But I've been getting that with both of my feet. And I kind of, at the time, I was on ADHD medicine. So I kind of thought it was because it's a stimulant, so I'm like, why is this like a byproduct or a side effect of that? But then when I got off of that, it never stopped. So I don't really know what it is. So did it work for you? The healing you got worked to stop that?
Yes, because the best description is it seemed to anchor me. So I felt as though my energy and the other people, the person I was reading, the energy was just too ungrounded, and it was just knocking me. And then when spirit were coming through as well, I just couldn't sit still, and I needed to be able to focus and sit still and be able to read people, because spirit were coming in and telling me about an illness maybe that they had, and because I wasn't grounded or anchored, it was just to make me tap my feet or hold my hands together, and I was having shakes. But when I went and done healing, it was a totally different experience, because I had new guides coming in that were balancing the energies, I suppose the best way I can describe that. they were keeping out the negative energies and helping you cope and learn better about who was coming through and what was coming through and everything else.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing, though, that you've been able to get all of this insight without a BQH session or anything, just through meditation or whatever. What kind of healing? Was it Reiki healing, or was it a different type of healing?
My healing is Sekim, which is above Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
Reiki is, for me, Reiki is when you work with one energy.
Mm-hmm.
Sekim, I work with 5, which is earth, air, fire, water, and spirit.
Okay. And it was a symptom of not being grounded then, the tapping.
Mm-hmm.
And energy is trying to come through. So wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look more into that, because I don't know. It happens. I thought about it. And then I've just kind of just let it go, because, I haven't heard anybody else mention. In fact, I should have mentioned it before now, in case anybody else is experiencing that, because it's been going on for about 4 years now. And, pretty much any time I don't do it during meditation, which is interesting that you said that, because I'm really still and I can consciously make myself stop doing it. But if I'm not thinking about it, then, they're just like they're going crazy now, probably. Yeah, they just tap up and down in different patterns.
I find saying I'm going to put my feet in sand,
Mm-hmm.
or imagine the roots of a tree coming up and pulling at my ankles and keeping me safe before I read anybody, because if somebody was coming in for a reading or healing and they had an alcoholic drink, I would actually feel drunk, because I don't drink, but I absorb their energies.
Right.
And it's also the same if somebody's taking any type of drugs, or if somebody has some sort of an illness or disability, I can feel it. So I always make sure before I get the symptoms that my feet are either in sand or connected like the roots of a tree. Otherwise, I feel the symptoms.
Mm-hmm. Can you spell the name of the healing you were talking about?
Yeah, it's SEIDHEM.
And it's pronounced Sechum, or how did you pronounce it? Sekim?
It's pronounced Sekim.
Okay. Okay, good. I'll look into that. That looks interesting. Any Sekim healers here in the chat? That'd be interesting. We'll see if anybody's here that knows how to do it. I know Atsuko does the Reiki. She might be able to help me. I didn't even, she didn't notice that block. She's noticed blockages other places, like in my jaw. And I was like, wow, that's weird, because I had a toothache there. And so she sees stuff, but that's never come up as a problem with any of the clearings and stuff I've gotten. But it does feel like high energy.
Yeah. It's just, I think everybody needs to ground, or everybody needs to find a way to connect themselves to earth or to earth energy, because you never know really the energy that you're walking out into. Whether that, in your home, I find it in your home, that my home's my wee sanctuary. The energies are always so light. When people come into my home, they always say it's so chilled and relaxed here. I feel like I'm falling asleep. That's because every room in my house has got crystals, and me and my son are healers. So it's just our energy that radiates inside my home. But when I go out, and it does depend where I'm going, I will feel very drained or very tired, or I will feel stressed. I feel stressed when I go to the bank, but that's because a lot of people deal with money there, either not having enough, usually, so I feel stressed going to the bank. And another place, I may pick up on energies going into hospital. And because there's a lot of worry and concern, so I always make sure that I ask to be grounded or put my feet in sand or the roots of the tree, because it does totally help. But maybe you should keep a wee note of where your feet are tapping, or how you're feeling when you go to certain places, because it may just be that it's that place.
Oh, okay. Well, it seems to do it when I'm really thinking or when I'm personally high energy. So if I'm working and I'm thinking about stuff, that's typically when somebody will say something to me about it, and I'm like, oh, I'm just doing my work and thinking. It's like my feet are tapping. And, they're not tapping to the point, you can see my shoe moving up and down, but my whole foot doesn't come up and down. It's a really quick, like almost like my toes are twitching up and down on a really weird pattern. It's not like just up and down, like, maybe you bounce your leg up and down on a steady pattern. It's like, it's almost like Morse code or something. I've thought about like actually recording my feet and see if they're like doing a code or something, because I don't know. I'm not doing it,
You should ask what it is if you're doing a session, or just ask your guides to show you why you do that with your feet. And they'll tell you. They'll either tell you when you're awake, or they'll tell you in a dream. Because that's usually what I do. And then it'll be something simple, like something will come on TV about an advert, something will maybe come on YouTube that'll be a recommendation, or something will come up to actually tell you why your feet are tapping. And it won't be that you have to go and take up tap dancing or anything like that, but it will be something simple like why that's happening. But it usually is an indication that there's spirit running about and they want to come in and connect.
That's nice.
Or something.
Yeah, I hadn't, when it started happening, I wasn't really awake, and since I've sort of awakened to this whole spiritual journey I've been on, I haven't really revisited it. So I'm going to definitely do that. I appreciate the advice on that. Yeah, because it's strange.
The answers are different for everybody, but that's why I always say to people, then go and just ask to be shown why you're getting that or seeing that or feeling that way, and then get the answers. And if you get confused, talk about it. But you'll know yourself what it is that's causing that to happen. But mine was because there was too much pressure from spirit, and I wasn't able to channel the energies enough. I had to change my frequency and change my energies, and the only way I could do that was by doing Sekim. And then when that happened, spirit came through and hasn't left me alone since.
Yeah, there's Rita and a few people are chiming in that they've got the toe thing too. I wish I would have brought it up by now, because I thought it was something with my nervous system or something. I just haven't really thought about it much, but that's interesting. I'll have to bring it up with Michelle on Tuesday and see if anybody that watches then notices it too, because it's a weird thing. And I even made a joke with my wife earlier on. I said, I think I'm getting messages from the stars, or maybe I'm sending out some kind of electronic signal or something, or I've just. Because it's kind of got a mind of its own, it seems like, You
could be. Energies could be coming through and you're tapping it out into the earth, like a signal, when you think about it. Because I think only we know what we're getting from our guides or from our helpers in spirit, or the universe, whatever way you want to describe it. So it's personal to each and every person, isn't it? There's only certain things that are similarities, but I think there's a lot of things out there that are very personal to us.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and I think everybody's sort of got their own thing. Like April's got the nose twitch now for her little confirmation thing. So yeah, it's really an individual journey, but it does help that, we get to hear other people's crazy stories. And, at least I like how it makes people feel comfortable to come out and share what they've been going through with a group of people that are really interested and won't look at them like they're crazy. So I really appreciate you calling in and sharing these connections and everything.
It was nice to finally get through.
So where do you think you're going to now? Because it's kind of like when you say you were getting contact and then you wanted it to stop, and so many of us are like, we just can't wait for some sort of contact to happen. It was just too much. It was too much for your mind to take in at all, or?
I think at that time it was too much because I wasn't sleeping great at the time, and I was in a lot of pain with my hip and stuff. So at that time, I just asked them to back off a wee bit until whether I was clearer, or my energies were clearer, or they were able to connect better. Because I don't like them just to give me wee tiny bits of information. I like them to give me enough that I'm able to use the information to go further. And what was annoying me more was that I was not able to, although I knew the being's name is Ariel and I felt I knew her, I didn't know where she was from, and that's what I wanted. Because when I went to research maybe the Andromedans, the Pleiadians, it just didn't feel right. And that annoyed me because I couldn't find the group of beings that she belonged to. And it was just frustrating. So I was like, well, I'm not going to go through all these different beings to try and fit you into something, and then it's wasted because I'd rather get the answers and it's straight from her. It just became too confusing to try and find who she was, because I just feel there's so many, like the blue avians and everything else, there's just so many out there that
I believe that the
right
Vegans, I think Debbie Solaris said I was originally from Vega and they had blue skin. Excuse me. So, yeah, I know there's more than one race. And have you seen the movie Avatar with the blue people in it?
Yeah.
Did they look similar to that at all? Because those are probably around eight or they might be a little taller than that.
No, because she didn't have a tail and the faces aren't quite right because she looked human. She did look more human, apart from the fact that she was tall and her arms and her hands were human-like, except I noticed how long her fingers were. I know they'll come back, that they just have to wait for me to be ready, but I just feel at the time, okay, they've given me enough to prepare me or pre-warn me, but I'm just not ready to totally research that just now, because I don't know, there's some, like the insecticide and the insect beings, I don't really believe in them and things, so for me it's like, I'm still on the fence. I'm not sure. So it's just not something. So at the moment they're giving me past life stuff, and that'll be for a reason. Maybe they're taking me further back into a past life so I do know who she is. So they're taking me back a bit at a time. I don't know, but I do know I've seen spaceships and I've seen inside a spaceship and I've seen her. And I just have to wait for other stuff to come through if that's what I've chosen to do. But it's never really, I love to hear everybody else's stories on them. I just, for me, I'm still on the fence about the whole thing.
Do you consider yourself a walk-in, Angela?
No.
No? Okay.
No. Definitely not. No.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that can be pretty difficult too, but I don't know that, they get to remember much, but I think some walk-ins say they can remember a little bit more than, those who were just born and have lived into this point. So, so for you, have you always had some memories, or did it sort of come online later in your life?
I've always had some memories, a lot more than other people, because I've always asked other people, do you remember past lives? Do you remember this? Do you remember this? And they've said no. But in the last year, a lot more has came through. Not about a lot more information about each past life that I've always remembered has came through. So it's not always been many other past lives. It's just a lot more memories have been triggered and came through.
Have you asked?
And when
I was going to ask if
when I ask questions, then I do get more answers. But I've put that down to the energies almost clearing away the clutter, and then it's doing that frequency where you're able to, I can understand that better. Maybe I'm listening better now than I did before. I don't know.
I was just wondering if you've asked them for any kind of healing.
I do, but because I'm already a healer, the reason that I do have, like, say, pains in my hip is because I take on too many of other people's energies and don't process it properly, because I'm like, right, never mind me, I'll just go and do and help with somebody else, and then I forget about me each time. And it's been over the last year that I've started to focus on me now, rather than giving all my energies away. So that's probably why I've been floored with pain or the energies. It's because I'm now working on me.
That makes sense.
Probably why. And it's not something that they will heal and work on overnight. It's something that could take days, weeks, months, or even years.
So it's not a bam and you're healed type of a healing that you need. It's really changing up what's causing it, I guess. Yeah, I was just wondering about.
I think with me seeing past life, especially with the fear of spiders and things, I think that's being triggered to make me deal with it, because I didn't want to see what the past life was connected with spiders, because then I was going to remember everything. And even as I speak about it now, I can feel that fear. It's almost like it stops the breath in your chest. And because I was having that before and it was really bad, my guides would just take me away from it and start to have me thinking about something else. Just didn't want to face it, but now it comes bits and pieces at a time, and I'm able to cope a bit better.
Yeah, because it is a lot to take in, isn't it? When you get all this information, it's hard to integrate it all and carry on with your regular life.
Well, it's okay to turn around and say to people that you have a fear of spiders, but they kind of look at you a bit strange when you say, I've got a fear of holes. And they're like, a fear of holes? And then when you explain that that's connected to bites from poisonous insects or spiders and things, and you explain it a bit more, they become fascinated as well. And then, but for me, it feels uncomfortable because I start to feel like I can't breathe.
Whoops. Oh, she just dropped out. Let me see. I'm not able to call her back. Sorry about that, Angela. It looks like if you can hop back in, do so. I'll bring you right back into it. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Having fears and phobias in this life because of underlying, I don't want to say memories because we don't really remember it, but I guess we subconsciously do. It's all in the Akash, I guess, right? So, but holes, spiders, spider bites. And when April had spiders in her session, the fact that they were glowing, it made it better, because everything's all glowy and pretty and blue, and so, instead of something jumping around real fast at you or whatever. I don't really mind spiders too much. I would blow one off my arm if it was on it real quick, but I don't have like arachnophobia. Let's put it that way. It's so interesting. Yeah, try to call back in if you can, and I don't have anyone else waiting. Let me check the chat here. Oh, Ruby, you've got a birthmark that looks like a stab wound. That's interesting. I've heard of birthmarks being, carried over from a previous life. Let's see here. And so back to the toes moving up and down. So Rita has been dealing with that. Someone else, I know I read it somewhere else, unless I just read hers twice. I think if Angela can't make it back, here. Hold on a second here. Phone's going crazy here. I think Pretty Dark was going to call in, too. Please feel free to do so. Having some connection issues. Yeah, I don't know. It might have been on my end. She just dropped off on mine, but I'm looking on the stream here, and it's all red, and stream health is red. Video output is low, it's saying. Excuse me. So big thank you to Angela, if she's not able to come back. That's so awesome. Oh, there you are. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I didn't hang up on you, just so you know. It just, right in the middle of you talking, it just dropped out. You can feel free to call back if you like. Oh, okay. Pretty Dark says they do that with the toes. So that's weird. I don't know if anyone else has the toe thing, but I wish I would have looked into it sooner. Now I'm like, why didn't I think to do that? It's just, I guess my initial thought was that it was a side effect of the medication I was on, and then so I just kind of was cool with thinking that's what it was. And then when I got off the medication and it didn't stop, I'm like, oh, well of course you think of, maybe some kind of disease or something, but I don't really dwell or worry about anything like that. I just figured it'd work itself out. But I guess it is. It's working itself out now, right? Now we're seeing that everybody's going to probably have something coming online. And just in this group, 3 people have had it. So I'm excited to look more into that now. Okay. All right. Well, what I'll do, so put some more wing makers on. And if Angela can get back in here, great. If not, maybe someone else will call in.
What do?
Okay, we're going to go back to the phone lines. Ruth, you are live. Thanks for calling in. How are you?
I am doing great. I just wanted to send love and blessings to you and all your followers, and just wanted to say hi. I'm so excited to actually be live and to be talking with you.
Yeah, how long have you been listening to the program?
I've been listening to the shows on YouTube after the recorded. I never had the opportunity to listen to live until today, so I'm super excited.
Oh, that's awesome. Where are you calling from?
I am in Rockville, Maryland, about 20 minutes outside Washington, D.C.
Oh, nice. Okay, so 10 in the evening there. So are you normally working at this time, or?
No, just relaxing. I just happened to get home from running some errands, and I saw the notification, and I was super excited to actually be listening to you live, and I just decided to call because your phone call dropped.
Yeah, well, when did you first, what first brought you to the channel? Do you remember what it was?
I got connected to your YouTube channel through Allison Co. I was listening and watching her videos, and there was a live video with you, and she went on your channel, and I was following you ever since, and thanks to you and her, I got connected with BQH, and I just became a practitioner also through you guys.
How's that working out?
Amazing. I just had my first 2 practice sessions, and it was amazing. I'm just so excited and so happy that I have found you and I have found this community, which is just so uplifting. And whatever it is about this community just makes you feel that you're not alone. And for a while there, I thought I was losing my mind because I've been getting information for so many years, and I was like this weird person that I could not share or talk to anybody about these things that have been happening to me since I was a child.
Mm-hmm. So tell us about some of these things.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What things have been happening to you since you were a child?
I know things before they happen. I know when people are telling the truth or not. And to be a child, and I grew up in a very strict society, so when adults thought they were wrong, or that the information that they were giving, often I was to be quiet or to, I basically had to shut my voice and not to say anything for so many years until recently I started to speaking up again and seeing this as a gift rather than something that it was wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, so your intuition's really strong then.
And I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, I say your intuition's really strong then. It's almost like psychic ability maybe.
Yes, more like it. I think, yes, but more like an empath also. Like I can sense the energy of the people, and I could always see beyond, or even when I was a child, I would dream what was going to happen the following day, and I will remember as things were happening, oh, that's what I just dreamt last night.
Mm-hmm.
Like detail, step by step. A lot of what people call deja vu, which now I know is in and out of different dimensions. But back then, I had no idea what was happening to me.
Right, that makes sense.
So yes, and now I am more in tune, and I'm almost like constantly getting information in my mind. Like I know that I've been channeling things just as I'm driving or as I'm just doing mundane, everyday things. The information just keeps like constantly coming into my mind.
That seems like it would be really helpful during a BQH session.
Yes, it's very intuitive. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I tell people you don't have to have any previous training, but our group here anyway, I think would be especially good at it because they're more in tune with their, the greater part of what we are, when we meditate and do all of that stuff. Because I like sort of try to get in a meditative state when I do a session and to connect better with the client. Did you find the course to be easy? Like how long did it take you to do it and stuff?
Well, I was so eager and I wanted to do it so bad that I did it in like a week and a half.
I did too. That's funny you said that. Yeah, Candace Carl Golden sent me an email and she goes, "You're way ahead of everybody." I'm like, you have no idea how excited I am to do this course. I'm burning through it as fast as I can, And I was even watching some of the videos twice just to really get it,
Oh my God, yes, I did that. So I will go back just for reference, just because I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget any details or I didn't miss something, by getting distracted. So yeah, absolutely, and it was just so amazing. But what I wanted to tell you is, so I had a QHHT session about 2 years ago, and ever since, then I realized what was going on with me, and how I was actually not just going crazy, but channeling voices or information. I would not say voices, but it's just knowing, like things just happen to come into my mind and make sense. And this happened when I, with different people, like I would see Dolores Cannon for the first time, and I knew immediately, like, everything that she was saying and the information and the courses and the techniques were real, and it was truthful, and it was the real deal. And often I see things and I immediately forget it, that's not even true, or like I know things just intuitively. And everybody has this. We just shot it. Like we have been trained not to listen to our inner self and to our connection with the divine and with the Akashic records. I mean, and that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what QHST and BQH has done for me. It's just sort of like giving me the information and the assurance that what I'm knowing is true, and that we can share this with other people and we can help them listen to their inner self and to strengthen their connection, because everybody has this. It's just they just shut it down because we have been told all our lives that this is not good, and we fear it.
Well, now that you've done 2 practice sessions so far, are you even more excited? Has it met your expectations?
Beyond. It's been beyond my expectations, because the person that I had the second practice with, channel Michael, which I was completely not expecting this at all, and I don't think she was either.
Mm-hmm.
So that was quite an experience, and the whole time my body was like vibrating, and it was almost like an electric current was running up and down my body the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
It was so vivid, and I could feel it, and the energy in the room, and I could see on her as well, like she was also shaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was quite intense, and I'm a rookie, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I'm so glad you said that, because it totally exceeded any expectations I had. And on my first session, when it started working, I was like, oh my God, it's working. I mean, I knew it was going to work, but when it actually started working, it was just mind-blowing. And then some of the things that's happened has really been just, I don't know, just really life-changing to really see it firsthand, some of this miraculous stuff. And I was worried at first, like that I've got to do this or whatever, but once you start doing it, you realize that you're just the facilitator, and you really have you have this team of higher benevolent beings that's really orchestrating everything for you and helping you, so you don't have to do it. So I would encourage anyone that wants to do it, but you just think, I won't be able to do it, don't let that doubt stop you from taking the course, because it's been definitely in the top 5, let's see how many kids, I'll say top 6 coolest things that ever happened to me.
I know, and the thing is, like, I had no expectations, and I told the girl, she's my friend, I said, you know, this is just mainly to help you relax and to help you ease your mind, and you will learn the relaxation technique, so when you go to bed at night, you try to do it yourself, and you're going to listen to the recording, and that's just going to help you with your stress and have a good night's sleep. Never I thought she was going to channel something that divine and that important. It was beyond any expectation that I could ever have.
So she was blown away too then, huh?
Yeah, she was crying, and I think she was a little confused and trying to figure out what had happened, because it was that intense and completely unexpected from both parties. I mean, I've seen it in the videos, and I know people that have said that this happened to them, but I was not expecting it to happen to us.
It's way different. It's way different when it happens to you, isn't it?
And the physical sensation, I think, is what really gives it away, because there's no way you can have all these emotions and all these electricity going through your entire body. It's almost like every cell of your body is like glowing from within. It's just so intense. I was really like, cool. Even thinking about it, I get all excited.
Yeah, now I'm getting the truth bumps now while you're talking about it, because I'm taking back to sessions and, you know, these emotional releases people experience, and, you know, of joy, and just the fact that, you know, they cry just from the feeling of love. I mean, the feeling of love make you cry, you know, because it's so strong and overwhelming, and it feels so real and so good and powerful that it just brings about this emotional response that, you know, it's overwhelming to the human senses.
It is. It is like this 3D body really gets supercharged with this energy, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
And going back to the information, so the whole time, I don't know, I was the person that sent you the email about Abraham and the angels, and Abraham pleading with God about trying to stop the disaster, and in the Old Testament.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I thought you meant Abraham Hicks at first. Okay, Abraham in the Old Testament.
Yes, and how the reason why we are doing this is we are stopping all these catastrophes from happening just by having enough people being enlightened and connected with the divine and having these experiences of peacefulness and love. And because, you know, once you move into this other side, you let go of all that anger and, being hateful, and you move into a desire of, like, completely trying to help anybody and being good to other people, being good to the earth, and asking nothing in return because you just happen to enjoy doing the right thing.
Definitely.
And this is what I feel like where we are, and this is like our mission in this whole earth right now. It's just every time we have a session with somebody, we're actually connecting them, and they're getting their alignment as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And so many people are learning to do it now, and so many people need to practice that even the people who don't have any money for a session, I would just chime in the chat and say, hey, if anybody needs to practice on somebody, here I am. I don't have the money, but, you can certainly practice. So.
Exactly. And I think that's really, like, for me, I could not do the QHHT because I couldn't pay for the class at the time.
I know, yeah.
And then
expensive.
when I got your information and I look into the BQH, I'm like, okay, I can do this one easily. And I jump right in. It was like immediate.
Yeah, it's like $300 with the discount code, and I think it's like $1,000 for the QHHT course or something like that. Yeah, when I saw whatever the QHHT one was, I was like, oh wow, that's way out of my price range,
Yeah, it was way over $1,000, and I just could not do it at the time. And so I was a little discouraged. But then once I bump into the information with you, and I think you had Candace on your show, that's when I went in and I did it. And I'm so glad I did it. I'm so thankful to you for broadcasting that and sharing it with everybody, because it really made a huge difference for me.
Oh, I'm so glad you found benefit in it. And I think this is a really important tool for our community to get that one little nugget of information to move you forward. And you might not get the question answer you want, but you'll definitely get what you want out of the sessions. It's been that way for me, and it's been amazing. And you don't have to go so deep you don't remember. Most people remember the whole thing, and but they'll usually have something in there that either it was different than they originally were thinking things were in their mind, so they know it didn't just come from their subconscious, or there'll be a little nugget of information in there that is a confirmation to them that, hey, it wasn't just your imagination. And I really love to see it all unfold. It's really, really a supernatural thing to watch it all happen. And you get those physical feelings like you're talking to, where when I actually had my session, the whole left side of my body, it was really strange. It was just the left side of my body, because I get the chills throughout my whole body, but I got it down one side of my body. It almost felt like half of my body was asleep, and it was just tingling, pins and needles feeling. And I was like, what the heck? And it's like so much energy coming in during these sessions. And I also have sensations as the practitioner as well. When the people have the love and then they're crying and I feel it and I'm crying, and it's just powerful, powerful stuff.
Extremely powerful, and you can't fake that.
No.
Once you experience it, it's real, because there's no other sensation like it.
Yeah, totally. So are you going to do this? Are you going to be a practitioner as your main focus moving forward, or do you have like a job you still maintain?
Well, I have a full-time job, which I've been at since 2000, so it's been 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so strange because I started to looking into this and really wanted to do it, and it feels and it's looking like the universe is pushing me on this direction, because now they're saying that they might close my office. So I'm like, okay, maybe that just means that I need to focus all my energy and all my time into this, because I haven't done it because of this full-time job and a family and a home, and you know, we all have real lives and real bills to pay. So, but I feel like this is my calling, absolutely, and I am so eager to give it a try and probably try to make it my focus as my way of living. Whether I still have another job or not, it will just be a secondary thing. The healing and the I'm actually thinking about starting a YouTube channel and doing meditations online as well, because I feel like what I'm being directed to do. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm actually, me just talking to you is completely coming out of my shell and trying to find my voice, because I would have been so afraid to even public speaking in the past that I would have never called the station.
And especially talked about stuff like this that's seen as weird, you know what I mean?
Exactly, but I feel like this is what I'm being directed to do, and I just, somehow, things just fall into place. Like today, you know, I'm here, I just happened to get home, I grab my phone and I see the notification and I open it, and then you're live, and then the call drops, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to call and just say hello to Shane, and did not think we were going to be live at all, and here we are.
That's amazing. And you know what, if you start a YouTube channel for the meditation, if you do have a session you want to share, you can always put it on there, or just information, because what I've been noticing is when you do multiple sessions, you'll begin to see, just like Dolores Cannon, you'll see information coming through that's, you're like, how did these people say these similar things, and you know, they don't know each other, or they didn't speak about their session to one another, and yet they're coming up with these very similar things, like the water running backwards was one, and the 3 days of darkness, and just so many commonalities that you see with them, that it's just, I can totally see why Allison Coe does her videos, because she does so many sessions, and then she's like, look, this is coming up time and time again. I need to talk about it, you know.
And, you know, the reason why Allison got my attention was because I just had happened to have my QHHD session, and the whole time mine was about the New Earth and 5D, which I knew nothing about. But I saw it on my session, you know, when I was under, and when Allison started talking on her videos and giving out her information, matched so much to what I had experienced and what my session was like. Even me saying that I was a Pleiadian and that I was blue, that I was blue energy. I mean, so many things that she talked about were so similar. And here I am, you know, in Maryland, and she is in Oregon. And yet we're both receiving the same information. It just blew my mind.
And that's how, for Dolores Cannon, she said, I'd be over in Europe and then go back to America. So there's no distance that's too far for this phenomenon to happen, you know?
And just the wording that she was using, and, you know, the terminology and the descriptions were so similar to the recording that I had from my own session, that it's just completely hooked me in. And then I, you know, it's almost like a domino effect. Next thing you know, I'm taking the course and I am trying to become a practitioner myself. And how many other people out there will experience the same thing?
When did you have your session, Ruth? Like, what year was it?
I had my session 2 years ago.
Okay.
So
2017.
it was 27,
sometime.
yes. 17, yes. Like in November of 17.
Oh, so it's right before everyone else started, because I think it was, I guess, right around the end of 2017 or beginning of 2018 when Allison put that video out about all the changes coming. What did you see in your session?
Well, first I kept seeing just lights and energy, and of course I didn't know that was almost like what they now people are calling light language or light communication. There was all these lights, but I have always seen lights. Like when I close my eyes, I see the lights at night. So I didn't realize that was not something that everybody gets to see, because it was normal to me. So I kept thinking that I wasn't connecting.
Yeah.
Until I started seeing, I saw a flood, like Earth was floating and the whole East Coast was like completely under. And I could see like a lot of debris, and the coast was almost gone, and it was really upsetting. And then I could see a pristine, beautiful Earth, that it was almost perfect, but had no life to it. There was just trees and waters and rivers. And then my higher self explained it later. That was the new Earth that was being formed, and there were no humans there, and they were still trying to bring the life forms that were going to inhabit this new Earth.
Love that.
Yeah, so it was pretty intense, and it's just highly enlightening.
That's really cool. So did anything, are you planning on doing any other sessions soon?
Yes, I have a session scheduled for Monday, which I'm super excited about, and that will be my third session. Because I only had like one with my daughter, which it didn't go too well because she fell asleep. So no information at all came out of that one. And then I did the second one on Saturday, which was amazing. So I'm looking forward for Monday to have another session. And I'm starting to now recruit people to do the sessions, because that was my biggest hurdle, to find people or actually reach out to people and tell them that I'm doing this and what it's all about. I fear the criticism and I fear judgment. But now I think I just threw myself in the pool and it's just swim or sink.
I kind of feel like I haven't felt at all like I should try to go outside of our group and do anything. I feel like it's sort of one of those things where, you know, it's the awakened people that really, it's a tool for them to sort of progress on their journey of awakening. And I mean, maybe it can be helpful for other people. I just, you know, if it isn't a friend or family member, though, I haven't even really thought too much about trying to do sessions with anyone else. But there's plenty in our community that need them, though, you know.
But I feel like that is your calling. That is like where you are spreading the light through that forum, and it's reaching way many more people than you probably would if you were individually reaching out. Now, in my case, I feel like my calling is to reach in my community. I don't see a lot of healers or people that would trust this type of healing in the Spanish-speaking community. And I strongly feel that is my calling. That is the part that I am directed to do. So my meditations that I am actually directed to write, and I have been writing meditations in Spanish, and to record them and put them on YouTube and send them to people and start to reach to this community that way, because maybe in other areas there are a lot more people who are Spanish speakers that are doing this, but I have not yet met one in the area that I live or anybody that I know. So I sort of feel like there is a need, or if people are doing this, they're afraid to speak about it. So I strongly feel that that's where I need to go.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah. And I think one thing that I've realized is, if you're giving a session to someone and English isn't, and you're doing it in English, but it's not their first language, then they have to sort of pull themselves back to the left brain and sort of translate it, and it can kind of pull them out of it. And so I think if someone can do it in their native language, that's much better. They can go deeper because they don't have to come out and sort of try to, translate what they're saying into English.
And that was like the thing that I've been working the most with, is doing the whole translation of the script and the induction and the water alchemy, because it has to be done in a way that is culturally acceptable, because of the deep-rooted Christian background. There are things that people might find that they don't click with, or they might even get offended. So you have to do it that is culturally acceptable.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because some people, and that's sort of, if people kind of come with their baggage, I guess, or their worldviews, and it's important not to push your own worldviews on them, and just sort of guide them and open-ended questions and things like that. That way you're not biasing the information either,
Exactly. So that's been what I've been working on in the last 2 months, just reading it and writing it and rewriting it. So it will be the same information, but it will be in a way that people could easily accept it without feeling offended.
Very nice, yeah. So when you're all set up and ready to go, Ruth, I mean, I'd love to have you on, and we can get you some subscribers, and especially, I know we have some Spanish-speaking viewers, too, that would love to come over there and do the meditations with you.
That would be wonderful. And I do have one more thing that I wanted to share with you, because I was laughing about it last week from your show, when you were talking about the Mandela effect and the discrepancies in the Bible.
Yeah.
So for years, I kept thinking that the Americans had customized the Bible. So I know it sounds funny, but I grew up in a different country, and I learned the Bible in a different language. Right. So when I would read the passages, the whole time I kept thinking it was a cultural thing. Because,
that makes sense.
As you said, I remember it being different. So I just assumed that it was customized for the American cultural and for the English speakers to like it better, or it sounded better to them. I would not even thought that it would be something like the Mandela effect.
Yeah, like a supernatural change, yeah. Yeah,
exactly. So many things. I kept saying, no, it's just because of the translation is different, or because, my language background is different, that I kept seeing all these discrepancies and not clicking in there was something wrong with it.
Did you go back to your own Bible and see, like, wolf is now in place of lion and things like that? And just have you seen any of the changes in your own language?
Well, my Bible is way in a different country. My grandma would never let me take it. But I remember it being lamb and being,
the lion and the lamb, and yeah.
Exactly. So I remember the old way. And so when I kept reading it the other way, that's where I was so confused, because I was thinking that it was just because of the language or the translation that it was made different so that people could understand it better. Not think that something had intentionally been done to deceive the people who were reading the passages. So that was quite an awakening for me as well.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy, isn't it?
Yeah, because, like, if you learn it in a different language, you kind of question yourself that way.
Right. Yeah, I totally get that, yeah. And I've done that with a number of things where I just thought, oh, well, it's just different here, or, it's really neat, though, when you realize that something supernatural really happened.
It is amazing. I just wanted to say thank you for bringing the light to all of these things and helping everybody understand and realizing that it's not just you seeing things different, that it's a phenomenon that's happening everywhere.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for calling in, Ruth. It was nice talking to you. And like I said, when you're all set up and running, give me a call back and we'll get you some subscribers. It'll be fun.
I definitely will, and we will get back in touch. And thank you for all the things that you do. And I guess we will. I'll get in touch with you via YouTube.
Okay, that sounds good. Have a good one. Lots of love to you.
All right. You take care. And you
All right.
say good night to all your followers.
Okay, thank you, Ruth. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Gonna go back to the phone lines. 503 area code. You're live. Who am I talking to?
Did you cut me out? I'm sorry. Did you say 503?
Yep. Are you there?
Oh, hi, Shane. It's Patti. How are you?
Hey, Patti. How's it going?
Oh, my gosh. That's good. Crazy. I think it's just that time.
Yeah, it has been crazy.
I sure got pushed into doing what I was supposed to do.
Let's hear about it.
Well, you know, the whole picture thing and everything. It's just been getting crazy. And then, so I have like a couple jobs. I think I told you that. Life insurance, and then a couple data entry. In the cubicle, hate it. You know, dreading it every day.
So what's been, I think you might have cut out for a second there.
I said, so they let me go at work.
Oh, they let you go at work.
Yeah. And you know what? I didn't even freak out. I was thinking, oh my God, I got to do it. I got to do something now. I got to do, you know, what I'm supposed to do. This is my chance. They gave me like a month's severance. They're going to give me unemployment, and I'm still writing life insurance. So my one boss ended up giving me, like I said, a month's severance, which was only working 30 hours a week, but at least, you know, so I didn't worry. Got a great camera for like $350. I mean, it's just a starter, but 300 zoom, you know, nice Nikon, all that. Well, what's going on, man? There's fairies everywhere. We got fourth-dimensional creatures everywhere. Oh, my God. And the ships came in today? Huge motherships.
Oh, really? Did you get any of that on film?
Well, you know, they're behind the... I got something really cool last night. It was like, almost looked like a beam of light, but it was covered with a cloud. I got that on my night vision and my regular camera. You know, it takes a little while to figure that out. But, yeah, I got some good stuff. I got the bubbles again. This one bubble inside, it looked like, you know, like if you were, you know, the elders that all stand together and they're all, you know, they got their robes and they have their arms crossed and they're just, you know, that's what the inside of one of them looked like. The other one looked like it had two dolphins in it. I mean, there's just, it's just a crazy.
So you think do you think it's a thinning, since the Vell's thinning, that this bubble technique you've been using is just creating the ability for us to see things within the bubbles? Because you take like the bubbles like little kid bubbles that you can just blow into the air, and then you can capture images of them, right?
Yes. Yeah, now I got a cool bubble gun. It's really cool.
Oh,
really hard
I've
to
seen
blow
those.
The bubbles and then take the pictures, you know?
Yeah.
Not all of them. You will be able to tell when an energy gets in one of them because it doesn't act like a normal bubble. It zooms around your face. It goes up and down. It spins around your head.
Wow. So do you think maybe it's giving them something that's easier for them to manipulate, the elemental beings? Just, I don't know. It's like creating a bridge.
I don't know if it's the inner... I don't know if it's... I think those guys are like physically in four. I think this is the energy. I think sometimes it comes from the earth, sometimes it comes from the sky, and they think it's fun.
Yeah. And they're just messing
Getting
around with you,
bubbles
flying
and
around
flight.
your head. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is fun. I like it. I
Yeah.
always go, Buddy, you can blow bubbles for me.
That's
My
so
neighbors
funny
are
that you,
crazy.
you said that, because I played that clip of the bath water moving around on that one Monday show that Gene had showed me, and you know, people are like, I can't believe, you know, you're messing with this. It's like demons, and I'm like, what are you talking about? There's nothing. What bad thing happened? You know, it's like people jump to the fear thing right away, but you can have a lot of fun with this, and you know, we're protected. You know, Bubble's not going to attack you, is it?
Well, here's the thing. They're coming down on this earth no matter what. We're coming up from the earth no matter what. And I can see them. So I just did it one day to see what would happen. They started playing with them. I'm like, this is too cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But, yeah, I've gotten some really good in fact, I'm going to have to dip off here in a minute because the sun's about ready to set. And when the colors are all changing, I mean, it's almost like you zoom in on it. It's like, oh, okay, are they having a little space war right there?
Yeah.
In the you know what I mean? I mean, they were parking up the sky this morning. Of course, I can't unsee the stuff now. I'm like, what's wrong with you people? They're coming in droves.
But I think for different people, I think different people's sight is different. You know, I mean, I think our eyes are changing, and I think we're what, you know, the range of what we can see, I think, is increasing, and I think for some people it's happening a little bit ahead of them. So you might see something and someone else might not see it yet, and because I've been noticing the orbs that were sort of in my peripheral vision, I'm starting to get them closer to the center of my vision now.
Yes.
And you know, the way our eyes work with the rods and the cones, they're way more sensitive. That's why you can see in the dark better with peripheral vision. It's you almost can't look right at what you want to see if it's a super dark room, because that's where the focus of the cones are in your eyes that see color. So you know, it just seems to be increasing to where they're getting closer and closer. Our eyes are getting more sensitive. So you're at the head of the line there with your eyes changing, and you can just see stuff, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, no, mine started with like just peripheral and all that, but the energy that's coming in today, it's like plasma flipping around out there. The birds. I go, oh, remember, I don't know if I ever told you about the time they took the birds, and I was like, oh my God, where's the birds? But the energy was so intense, we weren't going to knock them out of the sky. Well, this is pretty thick energy too. These guys are playing in it, the birds. They get on and I can see them with their energy like around the bird, and then another energy will come in and hit them, and they'll be like all wobbly, and then they'll climb back up and start soaring. And when they're soaring, I can actually see, like, it's the most flowing, gliding, beautiful, and they're loving it. And then sometimes it's just like they're flapping and flapping because it's so thick, and it's tingly, and I'm having some weird time thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I can't even say milk. I just feel brain fog really, really bad right now. Like, timelines are going back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been having that too. That actually came out in T. Taylor's session. She's going to be releasing that as soon as we got off the air in a few minutes. But I brought that up in her session because I was dealing with that, and she was dealing with it, and a number of other people had that sort of, feels like you're half in a dream, and it's hard to tell a difference, and it's just like this fog there, you know. And I asked about that, and it was like, well, your gifts are coming online, and this is sort of the beginning of it. You're realizing that you're in a walking dream, I think is the exact terminology that T. Taylor session used. So that's just, we're moving into this new phase, you know.
Here's the other thing too. I don't know. I had it was really, really actually amazing. And I would have thought I took some DMT, but I've never taken DMT, but this is imagine what I imagine it would have been like. And the fourth dimensional, and there's little aliens everywhere. They're all over in the trees. I have tons of pictures of them for you. I'm like, what's that weird thing in the tree? Zoom in with my 300 zoom. Oh, it looks like a little city.
Wow.
There's all these buildings, and I mean, if you look close enough, it's like, oh my God. And they keep adding on and adding on. They're having more and more things coming. They're just coming in. They're just getting ready to watch. Anyway, when this whole thing happened, I don't know what I'm watching with my binoculars these two planets, and this was almost at the beginning of May. They come down, but usually the big spaceship guys that I see, they never come down really far like they're going to land, and they're shooting off these rainbow waves. And I can feel them and see them, and they're all over in the sky. Then the two planets get together, have a ceremony. It was like the male and the female divine came together, had a ceremony, but the whole thing was like plasma cartoon, the best Disney movie you've ever seen. All the other stars are around it. Oh my gosh, it was just, I can't even explain it to you. It was crazy. Like I said, I would have thought I took DMT. Then you see him cruising through the galaxy, and he's throwing out his masculine, and she's throwing out her feminine. Oh, it was just, I can't even explain it to you. I wish I could have videotaped my head.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see all this coming together in a cool way. And like Rita's already capturing photos. That's an idea, Rita, is get one of those bubble guns and, see what you capture. If, these little beings that you've already been interacting with, what if they can play with the bubbles and put on a show for you?
Oh, they totally will. They totally will.
And it's easy to do, so it's cheap. So are you going to start posting
anyway, I'm going to
these?
have a whole bunch of stuff for you. I got the camera, and I have the editing stuff, but I'm so bad on the computer, but I'm working on it, and there's a lot. I just keep, I'm like, oh my God, they're everywhere. Oh, look, there's fairies all over in here. Oh, and the fourth dimensional beings. So they're all sitting in the city all over. That's another reason I know something's going to go down big time. Is I'll see just tons and tons and tons and tons of these, fourth dimensional beings, or just the visiting. I don't know what they all are, but they'll be just all looking up at the sky, like, okay, the show's going to start. And then when I put my binoculars and it's like I focused in, it like sucked me in, and just gave me a show.
Yeah.
It was cool. So that's what's happening, the masculine and the feminine.
It's a balancing, isn't it?
Yes,
We've been out
they're
of whack
coming
for
together.
A while.
Yep. And then it showed me this, and I think it's all like at the same time, kind of. I don't know. But it showed me this. I can't even, I wrote some of this stuff down because it was like, I can't even remember it all. It's so intense. But it was like a swamp. And it was like, hazy and everything. And then you would see these, like, because they'll do plasma all over the sky. If you can see it and you have binoculars, they're doing so much stuff up there. It's not just a starship's, shining bright. They're running, they're throwing things, they're changing into different shapes. I mean, it's a whole different world up there in that plasma thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they can do I wish I could catch that, but they're too far away. But anyway, then I see, like, the military, like, coming in. So the swamp thing was in there. But the one thing that did concern me a little bit was these bugs. They were having a war with these bug-looking things around the same time. Sometimes I see bugs out there. There's definitely fourth-dimensional bugs.
Yeah.
But anyway,
there's that. Who's that one guy we had? Go For It, Randy. He captures a lot of cool stuff like that. It's like you can tell it's I don't know. It looks like a little grasshopper-sized angel thing flying around. It's like, what the heck is that? You can see the legs hanging down. It looks like a little miniature. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they're
everywhere.
It's crazy. Once you can see them, it's like, oh my God, seriously, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Especially when something like that happens, So it literally was a show. It was so beautiful. I wish I could have somehow, taped it in my head and shared it.
Yeah, you're in Portland, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they're asking where
I mean,
you're at.
I'm looking at the pictures right now. I mean, it's just triangle. I have to, try to clean them up. Because to me, it's so easy to see them.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm out there, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's one.
Yeah, there's tons of triangles showing up now. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, and I'm trying to see if I got it, I was filming the sun today. I really like to take pictures of the sun, especially when the clouds are all weird,
Mm-hmm, me too.
Because there'll be, all kind of creatures and beings and all kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah.
The sun, first, it was, red. It was doing, a red thing, and it was moving really weird across the sky, and it was getting brighter, but it had, a red line around it.
Mm-hmm.
And the clouds around it were kind of orangey and stuff, and I definitely have a couple of those pictures. Then, a little bit later, it did it in yellow, a bright yellow. It was a cute sunset. I mean, I've never seen the sun do that before.
Wow.
It was weird. It was crazy.
It's
so
weird that nobody sees these things,
I'm going to try to get you what
it?
I can, but I might need your help on drawing the pictures of stuff up. If you could share my screen, because I at least have them downloaded on my computer now.
Oh, right. Yeah, you can definitely do that. Yeah, I was having so many people send me pictures. I had to actually extend I don't think I paid $1.99 a month for more gigs on my Google account. And I was like, wow, I'm really running out of space here. But I wanted the pictures to be able to keep coming in. So yeah, it's a small price to pay, I guess. But yeah, so many people are sending so many amazing things. And when I look up at the sky, even if you don't see any of these elemental beings or fourth or fifth dimensional beings, it still looks, you might catch something later, right? Because there's so much to look at. But also, the clouds are looking in a way they've never looked before. I mean, they're much different.
They're beings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like there were hands in the sky today, too.
Mm-hmm. A lot going on up there. But everybody's looking down at their phone, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're here at the greatest show on Earth, and there's very few people watching it.
Yeah. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. But I see everything speeding up really a lot, too. Everybody's waking up. And so, anyway, after the whole job thing, I already have 4 policies, which usually takes me a couple months to get the life insurance policies. So as soon as I get those, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing actually what I love, and I will be, I have to get the checks, but I'm being taken care of.
Yeah.
Because I think, so I'm like, okay, I got to start sharing this stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's what I tell everybody.
And awaken. I mean, the bubbles alone are freaking cool.
Yeah. But I mean, you lost your job and most people would be upset and what am I going to do and all this, but you had that higher perspective. You're like, well, this happened for a reason. Nothing's accidental at this point. And when you do that, you can start to consider other options. If you're having money situations or job situations, maybe it's a push from the universe to get you where you need to be,
I think that's for sure happening all over the place.
Yeah, especially to people in our community or people that should be in our community and just haven't awakened yet. The sleeple, as Eileen likes to say. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually had a lot of breakthroughs recently. I mean, I've been doing a lot of meditating and just, I've had a meltdown or two, but now it's I don't know, I'm starting to let some stuff go. And, I mean, not that I haven't all along, but I'm just seeing the difference. I'm totally seeing the difference.
Mm-hmm. And really trusting that you're being guided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then remember I told you I want to go on that trip? Still going to manifest that because that's going to be amazing. I'm going to be can you imagine East City right now?
Oh
my gosh, it's probably crazy with beings and ships and I can't wait to go. Anyway.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I've already had it confirmed in several sessions. I think we're going to have our several galactic families represented there on and on between August 8th and 11th at East City. I know there's gonna be contact there. I was told I would have we would have contact while we're in the meditation circle is what came out in a session. So I'm super excited. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's really exciting.
It's gonna be very active.
So have you heard about the it's like it used to be Deep Disclosure, and now I think they say White Hat or whatever, but if you have a humanitarian project, they're going to start giving out funds for that kind of stuff. So I sent this, off the top of my head, I need $40,000 for 4 months of me driving around in an RV taking pictures of energy with some other light workers and putting it on YouTube to help waking up the world, And I'm like, okay, I never heard from them. They sent me an email back that said, it looks like some of you guys haven't gotten your project stuff over to, so-and-so. Please outline your expenses a little bit and explain. We don't have a lot of people looking at it right now, but we really want to get started on this, humanitarian thing. So it sends you to a site to help you break it down. Just a couple paragraphs. I'm like, oh, man, I'm doing it.
That's awesome.
How much does it cost to rent a big RV? I need somebody to come with me, though. But that'll manifest itself, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a show on Netflix that I talked about. It was called Pursuit of Happiness, or no? That's a different movie. This was called. Gosh, you guys help me out. They take this bus, they turn it into like a Winnebago home, and they travel through Canada and down the West Coast and down into Mexico, and it was the coolest show. And the wife, it's like a couple and their dogs, I think, and the wife makes music, so she's making music, and her music is playing while they're going down the road and traveling all over to these beautiful places. And man, it just got that whole travel bone in me came out, and I was like, man, I'd love to travel around city to city and meet people that are in the channel all the time, and just hug people and say hello, and then move on to the next town. I think that'd be really cool. Have a little get-together. Like go on tour, but
everything's so beautiful. Earth is, guys, she's the most beautiful planet. I just want to take pictures and capture it all.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
So I'm gonna manifest it somehow.
Yeah. And
I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna do but I do have to sit down and try to figure out how much everything is gonna cost and all that. Like how big of an RV do I need? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. But that's all part of it's all fun, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I
am one of those people that have the bad internet thing, though. I have computers all the time. That gets really frustrating. You're pushing the button and nothing happens forever. Now I go, okay, I'm going to give you a break. I'm going to come back. I'm going to touch you. You're going to work.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Mel. Yes, it was called Expedition Happiness. And so, that'll get you excited. You don't even have to change the bus into a Winnebago home. You can just buy one, I guess, or use one or something. But it'll get you excited about traveling.
What was it called?
It's called Expedition Happiness. It was on Netflix. Okay. I watched it last year.
Oh, right. That's the one thing I have is Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, most of us got rid of the TV and we'll just stream something from now on.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Well, awesome. So I guess I'll let you capture your sunset pictures. I know it's going to be beautiful there in Portland.
Yeah. And if I see anything... the other thing is, I'm looking over to the right last night, and I go, well, when did they build a big, giant building up into the sky last night?
Oh.
And I was like trying to take pictures of it, right? But it wasn't working because of the light and stuff. I get up this morning, there's a bush. It's like a tree bush. It's like a rectangle, twice as high as the house. Don't even look real. I'm like, okay, you just gonna put up a huge giant. I'm probably gonna go out there now, and it's gonna be gone to this timeline thing. But I'm like, I know there was no big giant, looking like a skyscraper bush right over there yesterday.
Yeah, I just went out in nature, and I swear I've been to this place, probably 4 or 5 times, and it was different than I remembered it last time. And I was sitting there scratching my head, trying to figure out how I could be so wrong in my memory of the place, and the only thing I could come to is that it changed. It just, and it didn't look like they just changed it. It looked like it's always been that way, but I remember it being different, and I'm like scratching my head thinking, wow, that's just kind of freaking out or whatever. But I think things are changing all around us, and we just don't notice a lot,
Yeah. I'm happy that other people are starting to be able to see this stuff, so I don't care if people think I'm crazy. Man, I'm seeing the greatest stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't miss this for the world,
Oh, yeah. Well, awesome.
But
when you get all set up, are you going to make a YouTube channel or anything?
Well, yeah, on my, giant adventure trip, we'll have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely going to try to start getting my stuff out because I know people are so excited. They go, what is that? And I go, that's a bubble with a bean in it. And they go, that's crazy. I mean, a lot of people don't look up because they don't want to see it either. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. But there's just so much. You capture so much.
Yeah.
And people would love to follow you on your journey, too. If you're traveling around on top of posting these pictures, I can see a lot in our group here would love to see it go along with you.
Yes. And anybody join us wherever we're at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was thinking of like having a video camera and having, the people we meet along the way as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's cool.
I want to go to Sedona really bad. I've never been there.
Oh, you'll love it.
Yeah. Well, I love nature and I love being outside, so.
It feels like a different world when you're there. Really
yeah,
does.
I saw the one you did with the water. I didn't realize they had those where you could jump in the water and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that wasn't at one of the
there's
vortex areas, so a lot of people don't put those in the things. But we were like heading out, and I was like, "Oh, waterfalls. Let's go check that out," because it's like the desert, so I wasn't capturing any water anywhere. I'm like, let's check it out. But that water was ice cold. Those people were jumping in there, and that water, it's coming from the melted snow, so it's pretty cold water.
How warm was it there?
Well,
I mean, if it's 100 degrees, I'll jump in it, but not if it's 70.
Yeah, it was more like 70 degrees, but the water was more like probably 30, high 30s.
Yeah,
or
forget
40s.
that then. Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, why did that
should
guy?
have heated it up.
Go ahead.
I said the red rock should have heated it up.
Oh yeah, it should have. Yeah, the one guy that jumped in, he got out and immediately started doing push-ups. I'm like, what the heck? Why is he doing push-ups? And I realized he was just really cold. He was trying to warm himself back up.
Yeah. Yeah, those were beautiful. I was like, I'm going there when I come. I just like to see everything. I'm excited to finally know that things are going to start getting better.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you calling in, Patti, and sharing all your stuff, and definitely need to get set up. I can definitely help you get going on YouTube, too.
Okay, cool.
And then get some subscribers, too, because it's easy. I just mention it. People go there, sub, and watch your stuff because we're all into that stuff,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not... I actually am kind of a ham, but I don't want to get in front of a camera, but I'll get over it. You know what I mean? I just really want to show pictures and do you see that fairy right there? Okay, come on, people, look up in the tree. See all this right here? Those are all little, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just be fun.
Yeah.
But I'm checking on the sun thing, because that was wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And nobody ever looks up at the sun and takes pictures anymore because it's so bright, but I don't care. I just do it anyway.
Yeah, I like to do it when it's sort of behind the clouds and you get that iridescent cloud cover where it's like so rainbowy looking. It's like, wow, that wasn't like that as a kid. I used to stare up at the sun all the time, and I know I would have been like, hey, look at the rainbow, or look at the rainbow clouds or something, but it's up there all the time.
I know. Do you think it's going to go into change into a different star? Well, you guys, I came in late talking about the 3 days of darkness or whatever.
Oh yeah, I just mentioned that that had come up in a couple of different sessions in different ways, though.
I mean, no fear, obviously.
Oh no fear at all. This is all a beautiful transition.
But you're saying that that's from when, like, I think the sun's turning into a new star. It's been doing it for quite a while, right in front of our face.
Yeah.
It used to be yellow when we were kids.
Have you been noticing it's been a little more yellow again lately, or at least the area around
Well,
it
yes,
has been kind of yellow?
especially the last couple of days. I think it's doing some major stuff right now.
Yeah.
The plasma and stuff that's coming in right now is thick.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think
And
it's just
everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's just where we're flying through in space or something. I don't really know how it's. I just noticed it's changed. It's been like, wow, it's actually a little more yellow. You know, I noticed those things. It's
And the
almost like
moon's
I had my
smaller.
old son back. You know.
Yeah, I've definitely been having some nostalgia. I've been just acting like a dork too. Yesterday I was just singing and dancing all over my house. Oh gosh, it's so good.
That's how we're supposed to be, all high vibe, you know.
Yeah, well, my inner child definitely likes to play. So I really hope I can do this trip because it'll be an adventure of a lifetime.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a dream. That's a dream right there, come true.
Yeah. And why not? It would help waking people up. Look, here's a fairy. You say you won't believe until you see. Here it is. You know.
Well, there's enough awakened people that would enjoy it, you know, and then, you know, it'd pique those people's interest that are sort of coming out or sort of waking up, you know, and then even to consider
Don't you
things
think
like
they're
that.
getting hammered to wake up, though? I mean, the energy that's coming in the last 2-3 months, it's crazy.
Yeah. But people think they have the flu or something or food poisoning, you know?
I feel like I have it half the time, too. Sometimes when it's really crazy, I go, I'm just going to go lay in bed. That looks intense. Because I can see it going through the trees, you know. Sometimes it's kind of all light, and it's different all the time. But the ones that are really intense, I go, I better just go lay in bed.
Sometimes I don't have a choice. Sometimes I just feel this heaviness
kidding.
come over, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I hear you. I was in bed a lot this weekend.
Well, awesome.
Sometimes I think I feel it a day or two first. I don't know, but those rainbow waves were cool. That whole coming together of the universe was, it was just the most beautiful thing. I wish I knew, you know, like a movie maker, an artist, and we'd have a really good Disney movie.
Oh yeah, for real,
anyway.
huh?
Yeah. You do it. You create it.
Yeah.
Start making the pictures. I'll go, nope, it was more like this. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
You're not on DMT. You just feel like it.
Yeah. That's what I was telling people. I'm like, don't worry about, you know, if you haven't done DMT, I know you're wanting to. I want it to, but it's like peeking under the hood. This stuff's going to happen anyway. It's just like a little sneak peek of what's to come, I think, you know. But you don't have to.
Yeah.
You know?
I think
it's
each person,
anyway.
too, the whatever they're into, is they'll have those moments of where it's just something extraordinary. I never thought that would happen to me in a million years. I don't even know how long I was watching it. Got binoculars on my face to look at this guy for how long. But anyway, it was beautiful. I wouldn't have missed it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, Patti,
Okay,
I
I'll
can't
send
wait
you a
to see
few
those
things,
pictures.
and then I'll let you know. I'm going to send you an email and say, okay, I'm having trouble with this.
Yeah, when we can get you all set up, then I can have you on and we can show the stuff and, you know, send people over to your channel and everything, giving them a little taste of it. We'll talk about what stuff is, and then, you know, so it's not hard. And there's free stuff for everything. So, yeah, I can definitely help you.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
No problem, Patti. Lots of love to you.
All right. Lots of love to you, too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. So it is so cool to see people, you know, even, gosh, if you get pushed out of a job or something, to take that optimistic look and say, well, I got pushed out for some reason. There are no accidents. There are no accidents. So what is this really happening? Why is this really happening? And to look for the deeper meaning in it. And that you can take to the bank. Thank you once again, Patti. Thank you guys in the chat. Lots of love and light to you. We will be back tomorrow. Do not forget to go check out T. Taylor. She's going to be playing Is she still here, or is she working on updating that? I think she's working on... I think she's going to release it as soon as we go off. So if you guys want to go check out our session that we had together, go over to T. Taylor's. If somebody can post her link in the chat for those who aren't subbed already, they can go check it out if that's what they want to do. And yeah, it was a great call, Patti. I love that high vibe energy. I can feel the joy just bubbling out of you. I love that. Resonating at that high vibration. All right, you guys, we'll see you tomorrow with Eileen. And have a good night. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.